This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets! This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets! This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets! This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets! This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets! This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets! This is Fireman Ed, and you're listening to Jets Commute, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Jet fans, let's rock MetLife Stadium this year. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Go Jets!
Morning. Knicks opening night.
It is. Good morning, brother.
What's up? How you doing?
It's a heavyweight matchup, too.
Yeah, no, everything's right out. Two favorites in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
So, C-Web, you went to the game Sunday, right?
Yes, I did. Good morning.
Hey, hi, little guy.
Say hi, CJ. Say hi. More
You
what?
daycare, bro?
Yeah.
Dropping him off?
Yep.
So you're just handing him off like money, right? Not him, but you know what I
Handing
mean.
him off to the teacher and
Yeah.
Relax, man.
Was there a lot of Eagle fans there?
Oh yeah, it was like 50-50.
For real?
Yeah, it was 50-50. And
That
you got to
sucks.
think between like how close it is, like, and they know that the team wasn't. I mean, our team wasn't good. Like, of course they're gonna want to come and see them play.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They're 4-2. I still, like I've said before, I don't think they're that good. But they've done enough to win. Yo, relax. Your window? Okay, here you go.
C-Web, is Dable going to lose his job?
I think you got to see the season play out. I really think it's more deeper than looking at just this stretch of games. They got to really, if he loses the locker room, which I don't think he's lost the locker room yet. They've just there's so many issues. And like CJ, please. Daddy's
I'm
talking.
enjoying it, man.
Jesus Christ.
Hi,
This
CJ.
this is every morning.
C-Web, you know, once they get older, you ain't getting none of that.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, this is the one time. I think the bigger issue of where the Giants were when they came in, and people are just in denial of how bad we have been, where it's people just want a quick fix, and that's not reality. So they went from dog shit to like below dog shit to now like mediocre at best. But if you look at the team from last year to this year, they've improved. And the same thing I was talking about when I was in your guys' space a couple days ago. A lot of the issues stem from not being able to run the football well or establishing the run. When it comes to the quarterback, he's very much so a RPO play action type of quarterback that needs a run game. He's not going to sit back and dot up defenses. That's not who he is. And you can see that he can struggle in that kind of sense. But even with what they're asking him to do through the first 4 to 5 games, he was okay. That being said, whether it's wide receivers missing, not being able to catch footballs at the time when you need somebody to make a play, or it's penalties, and it's not one piece of the team. It's all over the field where it could be a defensive back, a defensive lineman, a wide receiver, a legal motion. Like, so I just think there's so many issues going on, and it's just unfortunate. But if I'm John Mara, my bigger issue is the team continue to just fire and hire. That's how you had Cleveland in the 2000s being so bad for so long. Fire and hire, get another quarterback in, get another GM, another coach, and just keep recycling. Because a lot of my fan base is like, just keep firing and hiring until you hit. Like, and I think that's just as bad, if not worse, because you just are in a you never have any consistency to
See,
build a
Webb,
culture.
when Neighbors catches a pass, do they do leak from a leak? Like leak?
Yep.
Yeah,
The
I
fans are
figured that.
excited about that. I think the other issue too is just the offense has been bad for so long. If they were consistently scoring points and they were still losing, people wouldn't be as upset. That's all a lot of Giants fans want to see is a high scoring offense, which I'm sure a lot of fans want to see.
What
But
happened to Goodwin
what
last night?
but the
His
other thing I
foot.
was going to say is with Dable, you just got to go be able, or any coach in the NFL, go win games however you need to win games. It shouldn't matter how the team wins games. If you can be a chameleon and find ways to win in different playing styles, and it doesn't have to be your way and your guidelines, that's what makes a great team and a great coach.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I think Dable's a good coach. I do, but
I think he is. I
You
just
think
he's
think
a
he's a
good
good coach or a
offensive
good
mind.
coordinator, Pete?
I think he's a leader, but I would take him for sure. But you don't think if Dable gets fired this year, Buckeye, he'll get an OC job instantly next year?
I
In
think he'll
my
get an
eyes,
OC job immediately.
right?
Immediately. I
Wait,
don't know if he's
what?
head coach. I don't know if
what
McDaniel's the head coach. I clearly know Salah's not head coach.
wait,
I,
what
I think
happened to Goodwin last night?
I think his leg again.
What, like a compound fracture?
I'm not sure, but it's season ending. I think
That stinks. Guys, if you
Do you
want to
think
come up
do you
and
think
speak,
Robert Saleh will get another chance, or he's done?
a
I think
DC.
maybe in
Not as a head
3 years
coach.
he will.
I think he's going to be a DC for the 49ers next year.
Do you think he'll ever get a shot as a head coach at another franchise?
Maybe in a couple of years.
It depends on the team's success. I think, yeah,
Yes.
I agree with Petey.
Yep.
I mean this. I think that the rest of the league puts an asterisk about people when it comes to being a part of the Jets, meaning
Correct.
that they have to weigh that into the factor of someone's failure.
You know what I'm seeing too, man? A lot of the fan base is turning on Rodgers now, man. It's wild.
It's just frustration, Petey. It's just frustration because I think the narrative of Petey, that first half against the Steelers, we were doing almost whatever the fuck we wanted.
Yeah. There's just no excuse to lose that game like that and get outscored
No,
31-0.
nope.
Oh,
That's a scenario, Petey, where I think the team quit. The team fucking quit in that game.
yeah. I mean, what else can you say though? Like, it's everybody thought it was Salah. It's clearly more than Salah. So whatever, man. It's just, can the Jets pick up the pieces and dig out of this hole now is the big question. I don't think they can. I mean, do you? Did I lose you? Guess we lost them. Guys, if you want to come up and speak, here's Meek. Buckeye, did you have a call?
Sorry, I'm back, Petey.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Until you win one, you can't string anything together, so I got to see them win one.
Meek, what's going on?
What's up, PD? What's up, Buckeye? How you guys doing?
What's up, man?
Wait, is Buckeye allowed to root for the Yankees or no?
I never said anything about Buckeyes fandom.
Good morning, Petey.
Yo, Bam Man, what up? Where you been? I see you in the
Long
listeners.
time no speak, Petey.
I'm
Long
good.
time no speak.
I'm
Today,
here.
today, Petey.
Wait,
Today
wait. I'm
is
here.
the day.
What's
Today is
what's today? Oh, the Knicks. The Knicks.
your bum
I don't know what he's in the black.
Yo,
ass
you're.
team. Let the don't you
All right.
let Miami hang around, Petey, and it's gonna be bad for you
Wait,
when
I
it
didn't
come
let
down to week 7.
anybody. You guys are 2-4. Hello, Bam Man.
Your team is hanging. I'm telling you, this is gonna come down to week 17, Petey. It's week 17.
All
Miami,
right.
New York Jets
All right. Well,
for a playoff
we'll
spot.
see. Both teams will be 8-8, right? Both
Both
teams
teams will
will
be
be.
8-8, Petey.
Oh gosh. All right. Well,
Nah, it's good to hear
listen.
about.
I'm gonna give this.
I don't want to
I,
kick a man.
I'm gonna give this guy his flowers. By the way, I didn't. Lamar Jackson's having some season. Hello. Yo. Who you calling? WFAN?
Oh gosh.
Lamar at 17
Service
completions,
in
five
Baltimore choppy,
touchdowns.
man.
Yo, he on the headphones. Get off the headphones.
Yeah, Buckeye. He had 17 completions, but did you watch the game? He looked amazing.
He did. He did.
I mean, the guy got away from like 9 sacks.
Well, in the beginning of the game,
He's the
they were
only
getting
guy.
to him.
He's the only quarterback that can do that. It feels like
I
just
lied better when they went
the
down 10.
evasiveness that he has in the pocket.
Lamar's. There it is. What's up?
Yeah. Can y'all hear me now? Clear? Hello?
Man,
Can you hear me now?
yo, yeah, your headphones are bad though. Just go on the speaker.
Oh, they bad? Damn, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me switch them out.
You wanted to go to sleep last night.
Man, I was up. Let me tell you something, right? Before I left out that open space, right? Mr. Whittle said, no, my bad. Let me finish. Somebody said, Kicker, what's your score prediction? I said 40-28. Y'all not putting up 40 against the Buccaneers. I said, good brother, you the same one say we couldn't put up 30 against y'all. We beat y'all 35-10. Somebody tell me what the score was. It was 41-31, right? It should have really been
Hello?
41-18. But like I said, y'all,
Yo,
defense still needs some work.
Lamar's having
But look, I
kicker.
really came in
Lamar
here to
may
talk
be
about my
MVP.
quarterback, right? Listen, for
So
all you other
Cad,
31 mother effers,
he ain't
right?
even listen.
I never want to hear y'all disrespect my man Lamar Jackson ever again. Running back, quarterback, wide receiver, whatever y'all
Yo,
want to say.
Lamar
That man
needs to
threw
win though in
5
the playoffs.
touchdowns. Hello? 5
Yeah, he needs to win a
touchdowns.
big game. Win a big game.
You said what?
He's got to win it.
Yeah.
He's got to win in the
Yeah.
playoffs, and then he's going to be ranked as one
Well,
of
guess what? You
the
know the
better
difference
ones.
is if the Jets go to the playoffs, we already know how that's going to be. But meanwhile, some of y'all want to
Yeah,
tank. Hey, stop. Hey,
I don't
Petey,
want to
don't
tank.
stop my shine right now. Hello? Where them
I'm
Bill
not.
fans at?
Kicker.
Talk about, oh, Lamar Jackson not winning no MVP. And you know me, I don't even like to brag about the MVP, but you can't tell me that wasn't MVP numbers last night.
Kicker. Real shit, though. He does need to do this in the playoffs. I
I
love
said that.
Lamar, but he needs to do it. He's not going to get anyone's respect until he does it. His
So let me
haters.
wait. Let me ask this a question because now I'm sure people. If Lamar wins and wins the Super Bowl, does he elevate himself over Josh Allen?
Bro, he already
Of
better than
course.
Josh Allen, bro. Listen, I'm gonna be
I
Course.
real
don't
with
think
y'all,
he is
right?
yet.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, right? And I already said this.
I,
The only thing
I,
that Lamar Jackson is missing right now is a Super Bowl, bro. If Lamar Jackson win a Super Bowl, bro, like, what else can y'all say about him? What y'all gonna say? Oh, can he do it again? Because I ain't gonna lie, bro.
he's not.
I be talking to Lamar Jackson. See, I ain't like some of them other fans. Like, me and Lamar always talk, but I ain't like some of them fans. I'm not gonna screenshot our messages and none of that, bro. The guy is focused this year, bro. And I'm trying to tell y'all, after that AFC Championship loss last year, bro, you got to think about it, bro. Our offense only put up 10 points. Ever since week 2, how many points we been putting up, y'all?
Probably like
Hello?
30 something.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Now, I understand everybody saying, oh, he got to do it when the big game count. I understand. I'm saying the same thing. That's why I can't wait till the playoffs start. To be honest with you, I wish the playoffs started this week. Because I ain't going to
All
lie
right,
to you, yo. We
Kicker.
coming.
Wait, hold on. I got a question for the space and the speakers before. I need you guys to put your thumbs up. Should I get Kick a purple headband with the hashtag hello? And yes or no? I'm not even being funny because I'm gonna get
I'm
him
saying,
today.
why you asking them, PD? We already
Because
talked about that.
I want to see what the fans say and what they think. Yes or no? Hit thumbs up.
Yes.
Damn, everybody in the listeners like, fuck Kicker. I don't see no
Nah,
thumbs.
nah,
Oh,
nah.
all right,
It's on delay. There it goes.
Yeah.
There it goes. There's some of them.
Yeah,
All
bro. Hey,
right.
PD, do me a favor, bro. If you make
Yeah.
it, bro, hopefully I can get it before that Thursday night game. I ain't asking for too much. You feel
When
me?
is it? When is it?
November 7th is the Thursday night game against the Bengals.
Yo, send me your address,
Kicker,
bro.
kicker. You guys win in the north? Are y'all winning
Bro,
the north?
listen, what did I say
NFC North?
earlier, bro? I think, see, and Goo, and
I
I
was
don't
on the
know if
space.
Guru in here, but me and Goo
Nah,
already
he's
talked
not.
about this. At the end of the day, bro, the division gonna come down to 2 teams. Pittsburgh and Baltimore, like it always been. All them Ohio State, them Paul Brown teams. Yeah, I said it, the Paul Brown teams. They fighting
Kicker,
for the
All right.
basement, bro.
All right.
Lamar always struggles against the Steelers, though.
All right, guess what?
When do they
Hey.
play?
Oh, we play the Steelers the 17th, November 17th.
He always struggles against them.
Oh, wait. Hopefully they move that game
Oh,
to
like y'all
Sunday
always
night.
struggle against the Bills? Is that what you trying to tell me? Hello?
No, I'm a Cowboys fan. We struggle against everyone.
Bro,
Yo, Kicker, hold on
hold
one
up. You know
second.
what? Let me leave out
Kicker,
this
let me
store real
get
quick. I got you, Pete.
Kicker, hurry up because I got to get to Hogs. I want to get to a jet guy. Go ahead. Hogs, what up?
Morning, Petey. Morning, everyone.
Good morning. What do? We picking up the trash still? Because I am.
I thought about picking up the trash yet, Petey. It's that bad, man. It's
I,
I
is
I
the
got
season over in your eyes?
yeah. It's done, guys. It's done. Um, this team right now is in such a bad way. Um, this team right now, I feel like there's no identity. Um, I was talking with my father yesterday. He's 64 years old, and he's the reason why I'm a Jets fan. And just watching what that team is producing right now, it's not a team. There's a bunch of big names, a bunch of billboard guys, but there's no identity. There's no team right now, and until that happens, this team is going nowhere. And it's a really bad it's a really rough time right now because I don't see any light with this team right now. There's none, and we're gonna be on rebuild 2000 coming up here pretty soon.
Hargs, can I ask you a question? Do you
Yeah.
think that they sacrificed their soul? The GM was doing a good job of building a team, building an identity, getting in younger pieces, and they were developing them on the defensive side. With making that push for Aaron Rodgers and the whole quarterback situation, I think that's where the team kind of got lost a little bit, and bringing all these names to try and supplement what they were building when they were on a trajectory of being a young team that had a lot of talent. They were starting to kind of gain culture, but winning culture and that stuff takes time of having games of showing character and being able to kind of grow as a young team. But
Yeah, but
when you've run it,
Most people didn't have a problem. There was a few Jeff fans that didn't want Rodgers, but nobody really questioned it.
Petey, can I
Listen,
jump in?
Yeah.
If the question truly is the season over, the answer is no. It's looked terrible, but if you look around the AFC, and that's what you have to do. There's so many teams in the shitter, and there's so many injuries, and there's so many season overs around you. There's still enough spots that this team, even in a mediocre fashion, can still find their way to a playoff.
Yes, Buckeye, but when they barely beat the Tennessee Titans and then they can't beat a struggling offensive Pittsburgh Steelers and they give up 31 unanswered points, it's really hard to feel optimistic about this
No one's
shit-stained
asking.
organization.
No one's asking for optimism. The question was, is the season over? And I'll be honest, we're in New York. You're a Mets fan. If you went by what the Mets look like, and I heard you rant and rant and rant about an atrocity, atrocious, a garbage pail, a dumpster fire, and there you found yourself in the playoffs. Shit happens.
That's fair, but you also did the same thing about the Yankees. Let's call a spade a spade.
No, what I said was that the Yankees, and I still think the Yankees are a product of the rest of the league just being frauds, and the Yankees themselves are the same. I was listening to people say that the Orioles are terrific. No, they weren't. But again, the season's not over. That was the question: is the season over? And the answer is no. With Miami and Jacksonville and Cincinnati and Cleveland and all these teams underperforming themselves, it's still keeping the Jets alive. And Meek, I see your thumbs downing, but that's a fact. There's too many teams underperforming in the AFC to not still say that, yeah, the season, it doesn't look good, but the season's not over.
Buckeye, let me ask you a question, if I may.
Sure.
The way this team looks right now, I'm not sure how any Jeff fan can have optimism. I know it's a difference between saying the season's over and optimism. I get that, but the way this team right now looks completely disjointed at the seams, both offense, defense, and special teams. Everything looks disjointed right now.
That's
So
fair.
what's the question?
So, I mean, the question is the way this team looks right now. I don't know how anyone can say how the season's not over. I don't know how.
Well, wait, that's that. Hold on, Hogs. Can somebody pull up? Good morning, Yuji. You could just jump in after this. Somebody pull up the standings and just who's in the lead now. Like, it's really, that's what I really believe 9 and 8 is going to get somebody in the AFC.
PD,
I
the
really
stat was
do.
issued yesterday. There's a 47% chance of the playoffs. So the question is the season over? I'm just addressing the question. I'm not talking through an optimistic lens. I'm not talking about doing something substantial. I'm just saying the season isn't over. And I know this fan base. The minute a Patriots win happens, the optimism will change, and it looks ridiculous now. The main thing is, and I saw they gave up in Pittsburgh, so if they don't regroup, then the season is over.
You want me to
Because that
tell
team
you
quit.
what the situation is?
What?
It's Lee John. I don't know if he's in here, but I was talking to him yesterday, and listen, I don't think the Jets are going to make the playoffs. They have to go on a 7-3 run, really, to get 9 wins, obviously. But he had a situation where if the Jets go 9 and 8, they make the playoffs as the 7th seed because all these other AFC teams still have to play each other twice. A lot of them.
Yeah, well, I still think somebody's getting in at 9 and 8. Yuji, go ahead. What's up?
Yeah, so it's not looking too good right now for the Jets. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought after that Buffalo game and getting Adams, that like okay, I saw the schedule. I actually made a tweet saying that they could run the table. His
Hogs, mute.
mic is hot.
Yeah,
His mic is hot.
Hogs, mute.
Yeah, you can.
All right, we did it.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that you guys could run the table. That it was like the 5 games that they posted on Twitter. So it was like the Steelers and other teams, and then the Texans would be a tough game. So I thought you guys would win a majority of those games, and then losing to the Steelers. There's no disrespect to the Steelers because they are a well coached and they are a different football team now with Russell Wilson, but that was a game that you were supposed to win to keep hope alive and really like say, okay, we can turn it around and get to the playoffs. I just think it's going to be tough. It's really going to be tough to make it, but there's a lot of other teams that are in a situation like the Jets as well. Not saying like the turmoil, but like record wise, like an uphill battle to get to the playoffs. So like Cincinnati is another team. Basically, every team in the AFC South that's not the Texans, like they're all in an uphill battle. Um, I mean, if you look at the West, you got the Chargers and the Broncos are the only one that's I think they're like 4-2 or 4-3.
Four
So
and
it's
three.
just
Yep.
yeah, it's just one of those things where that seventh, actually the sixth and seventh spot is up for grabs. Shit, I think all three spots is up for grabs right now. Um, Unless like the Steelers fall off the face of the earth or something. But yeah, I mean,
But a lot of those teams got to play each other twice, so that's
yeah, and the and that's the thing. The AFC East. I said this a long time ago. The playoff spots between the Jets or the Dolphins or whoever, the AFC East plays the AFC South. Whoever will have the tiebreakers will most likely get into the playoffs. So you have to win those AFC South games and those division games. So it's not over. I wouldn't stick a fork in the Jets, but it's really concerning
So
because
wait,
it's an
UG,
uphill
do
battle.
you think two teams can make it at 9-8 now? Is that what you're saying? Do you think
Yeah,
it's that close?
yeah, because the
I mean,
the
I'm
AFC
thinking one, but I
no,
mean,
because the AFC South. So look, if you think about it, right, you got the Chiefs, Ravens, the
well, yeah,
Texans.
let's put Pittsburgh in. Pittsburgh will be just say the fifth
Yeah,
seed,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that
So
one's
yeah,
taken out. All right, go ahead.
yeah. So you got Texans, Chiefs, Baltimore, and Bills, right, in Buffalo, and then that fifth spot would be the Steelers. But what people don't know is the last 8 games for the Steelers is absolutely hell. Like it, you go check it out. Like they play like Baltimore twice. They play the Bengals twice. They play the Chiefs, the Eagles as well. And I think there's another game. I think the Browns like once in that stretch. They could fall. Like they haven't hit the tough spot of their schedule. So
UG, can I
this
just read it out real quick? All right. After the
yeah.
Giants, all right, they got the Commanders, home to the Ravens, at the Browns, at the Bengals, home to the hold on, home to the Steelers, the Eagles, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Beng. You ain't kidding, man. Damn.
Yeah, yeah. So like, there's a possibility that the Steelers might actually start dropping games because of their schedule is crazy. So and then when you look at okay, who else is available, you say okay, look at the AFC West with the Denver Broncos or the Chargers, and the Chargers just dropped the game to the Cardinals, and then you look at the AFC South and East. Well, guess what? The AFC South and East play each other. And then also, um, I think some of those South teams will play some of the West teams because of the third and fourth place schedules as well. So there's going to be a lot of tiebreakers. And essentially, if you can beat the AFC South teams, you'll most likely will go and make the playoffs because they all play each other. They literally all play each other. Everyone that's fighting for a playoff spot right now, today, they will all play each other to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm just shocked.
Man,
Morning,
What's
everybody.
stop
up?
trolling, Usually, man. You know the Jets ain't going to no playoffs, bro. I ain't even
No,
gonna
I
tell you.
He never said
I,
that.
I never said that. I think you
Oh.
came in because your headset was messed up or whatever.
No,
But no,
actually, no. I just came back in because I tried going to another space just to talk my shit and I got kicked. So I'd rather just,
oh okay,
come. Yeah,
yeah. So it wasn't like any like
Man,
hope or
you
faith.
got
It was
kicked.
just speaking the facts. Like the
Hey, Petey,
division
my bad.
is
Petey, we
wide
talked
open.
about that yesterday. I don't even want to talk about it. It's all good. I'm just
Damn,
saying, look, no,
damn,
I'm gonna
kicker.
be,
You said I tried to leave you guys, go somewhere else. They kicked me out, so I'm gonna
no,
come
cause
back to
look,
you
I ain't gonna
guys.
lie, bro. Listen, not to like change the subject real quick. If anybody know me, yo, I'm a real motherfucker, right? I can't act
Hmm.
fake, right? So I will continue to act dumb while other motherfuckers, you feel me, just
All
continue to
right,
act like, you
let's
know what I
just
mean? But it
kick it.
is what
You're
it is.
welcome
But
in here.
but
Wait, let me just announce one thing, guys. Jeff fans at 9. 9 a.m., Zach Rosenblatt from The Athletic will join. So
That's a
if you
good
got
guess.
any questions, please let me know. Message, put it in the chat. 9 a.m., Zach Rosenblatt, who covers the Jets for The Athletic.
I want to add
June, good
one
morning.
last. What's up, June?
Good morning, peoples. Good morning.
I want to add one more thing
What up,
about the
Jimmy?
Jets. If the Jets can somehow be productive on offense and just get slightly better on defense, then they have a shot as much as the Colts have a shot, or Tua with the like. It's wide open. It really is. It's
It is.
not stick a
That's
fork
what
in
I
it.
was saying, Eugene.
It's like if y'all
That,
see
It
this
is.
division, it's crazy.
It is. What up, you?
it's not that it's
Mark
not that I
Ryan on
say the Jets.
Xfinity
It's
Sports
not.
Network said
I
that
feel the
What?
Jet. I feel
also.
it's not that the Jets will get there because of the Jets. Teams that are going to get the lowest wild cards in the playoffs are a product of the AFC. Like it is wild. It's wild.
Well, Buckeye, everybody, real quick, and then we'll get to Augustine. You know, people thought Miami would be a contender. I for sure thought Cleveland would be with that defense. Who else? The Jets were contenders. That's 3.
Petey, I don't
Who
think
else is
people
having a
thought
bad year?
Jacksonville was going to be this
Cincinnati.
atrocious.
Cincinnati was
Cincinnati.
1-4.
I don't think the
Now they're what,
Jaguars were
3 and
looked at
4?
as a joke like this. The Jaguars are a joke right now.
Yeah, they're a joke. I think definitely. Yeah, me
When
for
have the
when they
Jaguars
won.
not been a joke?
I mean, but they were at least in playoff contention.
Yeah, let me get to Augustine. Good morning. The Colts are in the mix now. What are they, 4 and 3?
Yes, and they got their quarterback back.
Yeah, the Colts just got 4-3, right? Good morning, everybody.
What's up?
I think as the last caller said, it's going to be really tough for the wild cards spots. But I think as of right now, the Jets are on a pretty predicament because they have lost to 2 teams that potentially might be competing for those wild card spots in the Broncos and the Steelers. Even though the Steelers are leaders right now of their division, I think the Ravens and the Bengals are resurging, so probably they might fall off that spot. But still, they will have that advantage over the Jets. As of right now, the Colts has played both Miami and Steelers, and we got all those both wins. Those are teams that they are, as you see, they're going to be resurging, as we saw with Russell Wilson. Now that Tua is going to come back, I think Miami will be much better. So the Colts has on their own power, to keep competing and have those tiebreakers over those 2 teams, Miami and Pittsburgh. So eventually, if the Jets win against the Colts, what they will have only if will have a win over us. But if there's like a 3-way tie with Pittsburgh and Jets and Colts, then you will have to see the conference record, which is not good
If
as
you
of
have the
now
head to head, if you
No,
for
have
the
the
Jets.
head to
it's
head,
head to head first.
yeah, it's head to head first.
Oh, it said no, but yeah, but when there's a 3-way tie
It goes head to head first.
between
No, I
Steelers,
think it
Colts,
goes.
and
I
Jets.
think it goes to conference.
Yeah,
No,
so
Yeah,
it's
it goes
head
head
to
to
Yeah,
head,
head.
then conference. It's head
Right.
to
right.
head,
It's
then
head to head
conference.
first. It's head to head first. Then
Even
conference.
on a
yeah,
three-way
but on
tie,
a
on a
3-way tie,
Yeah,
three-way.
no,
go ahead.
a 3-way tie, right? So in a three, if all 3 teams have the same record, the first thing they look at is head to head.
Yes.
And so obviously the Jets just lost to the Steelers. They beat the Colts. Then they will look at
And the
conference,
Steelers
right?
lost to
So
the Colts.
then, yeah. So if the conference record, if the Jets have a better conference record than the
Correct.
Colts, then that means that they are be above the Colts. Now,
Well, one
Correct.
let's just say if they have the similar conference record,
Doesn't
then
it
they
go to
actually
common opponent?
then they look at common opponent. That's
Correct.
Yep.
how it goes.
Yep.
Augustine, I think the Colts will be in it. That Jets Colts game. Listen, the Jets. This is going to be a Jets thing. They're going to suck everybody back in. They're going to do it because it's Jets. That's what they do. I'm not buying it.
Y'all play. Hey, Peter, y'all play the Commanders?
No, we did in the preseason.
Oh,
We played them last year.
Yeah, I think that game against you guys is turning to be huge. But again, like the Colts has to do their job on these previous games. This week we're gonna go against the Texans. They lost yesterday. We won. So we have a chance
game
to tie the.
For first
Yeah,
place.
we have a chance to tie for
hey,
the
yo,
lead,
hold
right?
on. Hey, Peter, can we get a beat, bro? It sounds like two other people talking at the
Nah,
same time.
it's only one.
Okay.
Can I just say the obvious though? 7 weeks in, the
That's
NFL,
usually talking. My bad. I'm gonna come back, yo.
the NFL's nasty, man. The amount of injuries that still are gonna unfold and dictate what happens is wild. So like it's too early, man. It's too early. As a Jets fan, it doesn't look good. The product, what we're watching on the field, doesn't look good. The optimism shouldn't look good. But the balance of the NFL is always coming down to injuries and impact injuries, and it's gonna wildly
Well,
swing things, man. It's week 7. There's gonna be swings. The reason why Miami's out of it, they had an injury. That injury wasn't foreseen to happen. It happened early, and now he's coming back. Maybe that will balance them again. But injuries are going to change this product answer over and over and over.
Yeah.
tell me about it. Look at the Colts. Like we had like half of our starting defense like on IR.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
We're hoping.
Go ahead, Augustine. Go ahead.
Yeah, and we're hoping that Buckner is getting back this week. That would be huge
Buckner.
for the next.
He was good on good on the 49ers. Here's my thing too. Like, listen, I know it's Rodgers, but Green Bay was out of it last 2 years ago, right? Until the end. If they would have won, Green Bay was 2-5, and they somehow, if they won, they were in on the last week. Somebody's going to do that this
Petey,
year.
what was the Steelers last year? What was the Steelers in the beginning of the year last year?
I don't know. Maybe Brian can come up and
Nah, it was bad because they dropped the game to I think Atlanta and the Cardinals.
It was bad. I think they had 6 losses.
Yeah, it was bad, and then they just muscled it through.
Yeah, they barely broke 500.
Yeah. Office, go ahead, man. You got a point or?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, bro.
I think the
Man,
key.
you're a regular in here.
Good morning, sir.
Office, the regular.
I love it, man. You guys are really good people, man, and it's enjoyable to get to spend a small part of my morning with y'all, and I really appreciate y'all for being the football fans you are, man. You guys love the game, and so do I. So I appreciate it, fellas. I mean, look, I'm looking at the Jets schedule now, right? I know you guys know it. I don't particularly know it like that. But if the offense can start to play a little bit better winning football on the offensive side, like some of the plays where it just, like the other night, y'all was in the game and it just, interception here or whatever. But really, you got a good opportunity. I think the Patriots are going to be a tough game for you this week. The Texans might be, that's still a game you can win based on, like the one man just said, them losing. I mean, they're not playing their best football. The Cardinals, you can probably beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I think your tough game is going to be the Colts. I'm not sure about Mike in Seattle right now. Then you got the Dolphins, Jaguars. Those are both games you guys can definitely win. The Rams might be a tough game. Then you got Bills and Dolphins again. Y'all might be able to pull this shit off. And just like you said, whatever the record is that can get you in there is all you need, right? That's all you need. It's kind of like horseshoes and hand grenades. Just got to get close enough. But great space, fellas. Appreciate y'all giving me a couple seconds to yap.
You just can't, like PD, June, Jets fans, like that Colts game is everything. Like if you guys start to string out wins, that Colts game is literally everything. because they beat the Steelers. And another thing too,
And you want that game.
if you guys like, I said this months ago, AFC South versus the AFC East. Whoever starts beating and winning those games is going to win that tiebreaker for the playoffs. But right now, you guys got to start stringing off wins, because if y'all drop like 2 more games in these next 3, next 4, good luck. Like that Texans game, you probably gonna have to win that. Um,
We can't lose no
so
more than two, UG. We can't lose no more than two.
yeah, exactly. So and then the Patriots game. If you guys look, y'all play the Patriots and y'all drop that game, I'm gonna have to just come back in the space and say, yo, the season is done, is over. Stick a fork in it. Can't drop more games, man.
That's fact.
Tom, go ahead.
All right. Hey, Petey, thank you for hosting the spaces every day. It does help me on my commute from Connecticut to the Bronx every day. Appreciate
Appreciate
it.
it, bro. Yeah, no doubt. Thank you. That
Hey,
means a lot.
hey, Tom, we like to thank you, man. I love your shades, man. I wear your shades all day long.
I wish I was that one, but don't you love my song by Jay Z better? Don't you love? I actually danced to that at Spotlight dance at my wedding 10 years ago to Jay Z song of that, FYI. But
Tom Ford.
yeah, I get that all the time. Having said that, though, I don't know if this was said earlier because I just joined on driving a little late because I had to calm my 4-month-old down while let my wife rest a little.
Mhm.
22 years ago, Jets had this exact record. Herm's most famous speech for the Jets. You play
Yes.
to
To
win the
win the
game.
game. Yes.
And guess
And we
what happened?
and
We
we
went.
we ended up making the playoffs that last game against Green Bay Packers. Yes,
Not
sir.
just that. That was our last. That was our last division title as well that
Yes.
year. I know the division is out.
Who was the quarterback
That was
then?
Chad
Pennington.
Pennington.
Chad Pennington.
I still have his jersey somewhere in
Oh
my
yeah, that's
closet.
right.
Because I
Mm-hmm.
just two bad injuries in his arm took his thing. He was the
Hey,
probably smartest we ever had in my lifetime
Yes.
at 39 years old. But
Well,
guys,
do a little.
I wanted to ask you what
I was about to say.
I wanted to ask you what do you think about that introduction that NBC made to the game? I think they did like a piece that said like stability versus chaos,
Wow.
and like they described the Jets as
Wow.
like total chaos.
it's
I don't.
history, unfortunately, with
I,
that.
I don't.
I mean,
I don't think. I don't think until we straighten out our front office that narrative is gonna always stay. It's always been chaotic.
So you think the players playing like that because they don't want to play for the front office?
No.
No, 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 no. You know what? It's funny you say that, kicker. I think, and it's just my opinion. I think the players that we drafted finally started to accept losing. Because at first they wasn't on that. You know what I'm saying? They was vocal about it. It's not no same old Jets. We just got here, and now it's looked like they're like if you look at their post game interviews back from when they was rookies to now, it's like night and day.
June, can I say something on that though?
Yes, sir, brother.
I feel like I don't argue the talent of. I think we're talking about the same players, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it just feels like these players are playing for contracts, not for winning,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's what's bothering me. And that's a coaching thing. That's a coaching
Yes.
thing that we've got players after year 2 angling of frustration and contracts, and it's like that's the issue.
Yeah. You're right.
We got Garrett Wilson playing for a contract. We got Sauce playing for a contract. We got Brees playing for a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm
And,
not going to count Jermaine Johnson because he got
Quentin,
hurt, but
and,
we got
and
too
Quentin
many
already
guys
did it, Buck.
angling to money.
Yeah, and Quentin already did it because as soon as he got paid, he checked out.
He checked out. He checked out.
I don't
Gone.
think that has. I mean, if you want to say contracts, that's cool, but I think it's more about just the culture
Yeah, that's that. I think they
and
accepted losing.
identity. Like when you it's like when you think of the Jets, you honestly think that there's like a identity amongst players or like a common goal and everyone's working towards it. Like I heard an interview by A Rod. Yeah, he threw the media under the bus, but he said that no one was fired up. Like, it's, primetime game, football with the lights out, things like that. And they didn't have an extra umph to them. And that just tells me that the team's not ready. Like, you guys got all these fucking primetime games, and you guys are not ready for primetime.
No.
That's fair. UG, I don't know how close or how much, I don't know if you watched it all. I'm talking about, and Sauce is a terrific player, but I've watched this over and over again. Every
Mm-hmm.
time he gets beat, he's either looking at someone else on his
Yep.
team
Or he's
or
hurt.
he is limping off a field, and he's
Mm-hmm.
not hurt.
Wait,
I'm
is
sorry, he's not hurt.
Buckeye? 1
Mm-hmm.
second. Is Tom here? Tom, are you here?
Yeah, I'm
Tom,
here. I'm
Tom,
still
I've
there.
been,
I just wasn't sure.
I had something for you. I wanted to cue something up for you, and because I haven't heard
Okay.
from you in a while, but this is for you.
All right.
Tom Ford.
Yep.
Tom Ford.
Exactly.
That's his wedding song, man.
Tom Ford.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is on my top 25 playlist. Don't worry, I'm a little egotistical like that.
I had to do that,
Coming
bro.
down.
I've been waiting to do that. My bad, guys.
I'm glad I got decided to want to speak to let you do that.
Yeah.
When it's a good topic, I'll do it more often. If you need to pick me up, PD, I got no problem for that.
Yeah, we could do a daily segue, but appreciate you coming in. Let me get to Brian,
No problem.
and then Jim. Brian,
Thanks,
what's up?
Petey. I don't mean to be a Danny Downer, but what if anybody makes you think that this team can put a string of wins together? They're not playing as a team. They're fractured.
I agree.
I don't see anything that they can put a string of wins together at any time.
Brian, I put out the question yesterday. Does the Jets win over the Patriots change things for you? It doesn't for me. It doesn't. They're going to win because they're going to jet. They're going to win.
But let's put it better. Any team hanging around long enough in the AFC is going to make the playoffs. Let's put it that way. Let's not put it in a dominating way or an impressive way. It's a conference right now. If you hang out long enough, you'll find yourself in the playoffs. I don't know if the Jets could do that. I don't know. You got to win one before you win two.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to be impressive, the bottom of the AFC. It's not going to be impressive.
Brian, somebody's getting in.
Well, they got to split
Somebody's
drives
getting
together.
Brian,
before
I'm telling you.
Somebody's getting in, but you guys, like I said at the beginning of the season, Petey, the
I'm not thinking.
tiebreakers.
Yeah,
The
I don't
Steeler
think the
game was
Jets are going to
huge.
get in. Like, you're right.
The Steeler
So
game
Brian,
was
what do you
huge.
think about
And
Cincinnati and
why
Miami?
is it that the Jets every year have an embarrassing moment that leaves a taste in their fans' mouth for weeks on end? That Harris TD with 25 seconds left and let them score like that. I mean, come on. That is compared to last year when they had that INT that they ran out back before the half. I mean, they just have one of these every single year.
Yeah. As I said, the narrative is it's gonna be hard to break that narrative. It's been around for fucking years.
Yeah.
it's not your player's ability. It's exactly what you all are talking about.
Jim, good morning.
What's up, everybody?
What's up?
What's up, man? Where you been at, Jim?
I've been around. I just been
around.
quiet, but I'm gonna don't take offense, other fans, but I'm gonna kind of cook you guys because I'm aggravated of listening to other
I love it.
fans that have. You could laugh, Hollywood, because this is gonna be to you. I don't know how old you guys are, but listen, it's a simple thing. The Jets haven't hired the right coach or had the right quarterback, and it's as simple as that. Like Bills fans,
Mm-hmm.
they found their quarterback. They found a good coach. They haven't won a Super Bowl yet, but they have one of the top quarterbacks in the league. But you know
Mm-hmm.
what? Bills fans, they had J.P. Lossman, E.J.
Mm-hmm.
Manuel, Trent
Mm-hmm.
Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
So, they've done it. They eventually found one, and now they're good.
Yep.
Chiefs fans, what was you're talking about culture now when you have one of the
Yeah.
great coaches of all time and one of the probably the best quarterback in the history of the NFL, probably when he's all said and done, or top two. But what was the culture before that?
What?
Hold on a
Nothing.
second. What?
It was horrible.
I
It was
remember
horrible.
when the Chiefs got Joe Montana,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Did they win a Super Bowl with Joe Montana?
Nope.
No, they didn't.
No,
No, they
to the
didn't.
So
playoffs.
no, hold on. Let
And
me
we,
finish. So it's
yeah.
very easy to talk about culture when you're winning Super Bowls. But what was the Super Bowl record of the Chiefs before they got a coach and a quarterback? They didn't have a Super Bowl winning all that time.
It was
Yeah.
50 years,
So
Yeah,
for
almost.
that's
50
true.
years, and they went through the Joe Montana thing, and so it's very easy to talk shit when you have your quarterback and coach and you're winning Super Bowls.
Wait. So
No,
out
no.
of no, so this is where you miss me. Out of all the things that I've came in and said in this space, I never offended any Jets fan. I never shitted on a
I'm not.
Jets
No, no,
fan,
no. I'm not.
or I never
But
I
you're
never
talking about
talked
a culture, and
negative.
it's very easy to talk
I,
about that stuff
I so
when you're
so
winning
so
Super
this
Bowls.
this is something that I like strongly hate. I hate because if you have a conversation with other fans, no matter what the team is, they'll look at your profile picture and they'll click your profile and say, "Oh, you're a Chiefs fan," or "Oh, you're a Bills fan." No, I'm a football fan, and I'm just talking about football.
I get
Correct.
it, but you're talking
So,
about the Jets culture, right?
yes,
Okay,
and
so
the
let me. Can
Jets
I
don't
finish my point
have a
though? Can I
culture.
finish my point? You have Steelers fans that half the Steelers fans would run Mike Tomlin out of town, and that's a fact.
This the
I
Steelers
Wasn't
have a
hold on?
culture.
Wasn't Harbaugh talked about like losing his job a few years ago?
And then
Possibly,
they
and then he got
The only time they haven't tried to fire him is the last two
and then he
weeks
got an
here in
extension.
Baltimore.
So again, it's a very simple thing. The Jets haven't had the head coach and the quarterback at the same time, and when Parcells was there, they went to a championship game. They lost. Rex Ryan had a great team, a rookie quarterback. He went to back AFC championship games. They lost those. I've seen the Jets lose 4 championship games in my lifetime. There are teams that haven't sniffed a championship game. Eventually, you get it right, and the Jets haven't gotten it right. So
you
I
you
don't want to hear
mentioned
about
head
culture
coach.
and all this stuff and all these because I've
So
watched
so
enough football to know that's what it takes. And they
so
haven't
you
had it. They
just
haven't hit on it.
what just it's fucking mind-boggling to me that you said head coach and quarterback. What do you think the head coach does? Establishes a culture. So yes,
I
you
mean,
talked about Rex. You
can,
talked about Rex Ryan.
Don't get
You
yep.
talked about
offended.
Rex Ryan.
Don't
No,
get
he's
You
not.
talked
offended.
about
No,
Rex
he's
Ryan.
not.
What did
He's
Rex
not.
Ryan
Don't
do?
get offended.
He's
I've watched enough
passionate, man.
football.
No,
That's what
Let
it
the
so
takes.
passion come out.
you said you watched enough football, and
And you
that's
know
what it
what? And I'm
takes.
going to give you another thing. There's
Yet,
other ways
yet,
to win without a great quarterback. You can have a top
But
5 defense like the
but
Ravens. And you
Jim,
had
hold
no,
Trent
on.
Dilfer
Wait,
as
wait, wait, wait,
quarterback.
he
wait.
is explaining culture.
There
Yeah,
are other
Jim.
ways
Wait,
to
wait,
Like
win.
Jim,
what the
Jim. I know you don't like the mute button. Let me just make a point. Bill Parcells for the Jets changed the culture of the Jets, and look at what happened. He had a journeyman quarterback in Vinny Testaverde. We were fucking a half away from the Super Bowl. Go ahead.
everything he explained is culture. So and then he's gonna say, "Well, I did. Yeah, UG, I'm talking to you. You literally explained culture, man.
No, that's
You watched
not
enough
culture.
football,
No,
and you
that's
can't
not
you
culture.
can't
These
identify what
guys are
culture is.
professionals. You know what? When you're getting paid money like Tyron Smith, that's supposed to be an all pro, and you fucking whiff on the guy in front of you, not just put a hand on him, you fucking whiff.
So,
I
Well,
so,
could do
so,
Jim,
that.
so, so,
That's
Jim, can
not
Jim,
I ask
does
you?
fucking culture.
Can
That
I
Jim,
ask
guy's
you a
fucking
question?
playing
Jim,
bad.
does
Isn't it?
Dallas
And
have a
But
they're
Jim,
culture?
playing bad consistently.
Jim,
Jim,
does Dallas
Jim,
have a
isn't
culture?
accountability culture? Isn't accountability culture?
No,
Everything
accountability
that
is, you know what? Be a fucking man and call
No,
yo,
guys
this is
out.
crazy.
And if you need to fucking sit them. How you gonna change the whole culture of fucking grown men? You get paid to fucking play
that's what
football.
head coaches
So
This is
do.
fucking act like
That's
crazy.
it.
what head coaches do.
Yeah, that's their
And you can have
job.
bad head coaches
He
win
said I
fucking
watched
Super
enough
Bowls.
football, and he can't even identify what culture
I
is.
know,
So
I
what are we
know.
doing?
Because I know. I can't identify it. I know.
Hey, Petey, let me
All
ask
right.
you something. If the
You,
Ravens
but
make the
Truth hurts sometimes, guys. That's a fact.
Petey, let me
but
ask you something real quick. If the Ravens make the AFC Championship game and lose, and part ways with Harbaugh, will the Jets hire him?
oh, why would Jim, Brian? I don't usually say this. I would give Harbaugh $20 million a year to coach the Jets. Yes.
And Peter, you know what? That's what it would
Yes.
take. That's what it would take because there's no other way he would accept this. That's why I keep saying a good coach. What's going to make a good coach who have options want to take the Jet job?
Well,
Yeah.
I'll answer one thing.
Well, and you got to remember about Harbaugh. He's slow and steady. It might not be the quick turnaround you'd be looking
But
for, though. That's the only
John
issue.
Harbaugh is one of the best coaches in in my lifetime. He
Yeah, but
is.
here's the
Oh,
one here's the
he's one
one
of my
fact. And
favorites,
again,
Petey.
I'm
I've
not
never wanted
Go
to
ahead.
fire the man.
Go ahead.
the one fact is if we don't make the playoffs, right, and Joe D doesn't get extended, it is the time that a prestigious coach gets to run everything. He gets
Correct.
to run everything. There's no GM,
Hold
there's
on,
no head
guys. I'll
coach,
get you
and
up.
you could give total power over.
Yep.
That's the storm that you can get
But the
the name.
but to back to Jim's point real quick, and guys, at 9 o'clock, Zach Rosenblatt from the Athletic, who covers the Jets, will join. Bill Parcells, like for me, and I'm taking it back now to 1990 when the Jets hired Parcells, and I was young. I was 20 years old. I said to them, I woke up when they announced it that day. I'm like, oh my gosh, the Jets. I felt really good. I'm like, wow, he was like the god of coaches, Parcells, what he did for the Giants. And I said, man, we got a coach. And they were 1-15,
But
and
he
he
built
had
a
them
culture.
correct.
Petey, can I just throw another comment in about the culture bullshit?
Yes, it's
What's the
not
Bills'
bullshit.
culture? Why do the Bills win right now? What's their culture? They don't have a culture. They win
Yes, they
because
do,
Josh
Jim.
Allen's the
Yes,
quarterback.
but
They
Hold on a
Jim,
definitely
second. Hold
have a
on.
go
Let
ahead.
me
culture.
get a better example. What was the fucking Patriots culture? Cheating? Fucking Deflategate? Fucking Spygate? What was their culture?
They
They had
literally
a
said
fucking
the
It
great
starts with
Patriots
quarterback.
accountability.
way. They
Accountability.
said the
Accountability.
Patriots
So the
way.
fucking coach cheated, the quarterback cheated. Accountability. Like you got to be fucking kidding me.
Corey, the Patriots
Jim,
didn't have a culture.
What was their
Jim,
culture?
Jim,
What was their culture?
Yeah, it was the Patriots way.
What is the
Accountability,
Patriots way? What does that mean?
bro.
winning. Hold on.
Bill Belichick.
Hold on. The Patriots culture is winning. They won for 20 freaking years.
I mean, there is things
20,
called a
Jim.
culture.
The,
Winning culture
20.
is a term and it's
Sorry,
real.
Eugene and Jim.
the,
Guys, you guys got to make this quick. All
the
right, because I
Patriot
got a guest coming.
the Patriot culture is it's always been do your job, accountability.
Okay, hear me out. Jet fans would. I don't know why they think Belichick would come here because he won't. But if Bill Belichick came here, the Jets would be an instant contender with him. They would because he's a culture changing coach. Sorry, I got hands. I know Hogs. CB, good morning. I see Jones. Jarek, I'll get you up. Whittle's in here. Shout out to the listeners. Again, at 9 o'clock, Zach Rosenblatt joins. Guys, there's 3 hands up with less than 5 minutes. Go. Whoever's up.
Yeah, like listen, guys, there is the culture of this team has to change. And do I understand to an extent what Jim is talking about? I do. But at the same time, a head coach changes a franchise. Look at the freaking Detroit Lions right now. That team and that culture is built by the head coach of that team. It is a nasty built football team that's going to smash you in the mouth. Everything starts at the top. When you have a significant head coach in place, a coach who is preaching accountability first, after a while, things start falling into place. And that's what has to start with this Jets team. Look at Rex Ryan that first year where he came on board. That smash mouth mentality. You have to build a
Yes, but
system.
Hogs, to be fair though, on Ryan, he thought the season was over after we lost to the Falcons. And if we didn't have a Curtis Painter laydown game when the Colts took out Manning, we're not even talking about the Jets run for 2 straight years. And
Not wrong. Not wrong. But my main point though is you have to build a culture. You have to build an identity. It starts with the head coach, guys. Then everything else falls into place.
But we throw around that word like it means something. So every team's culture is a losing culture until they start winning. That's it. I mean, teams are just good, like Detroit.
Uh,
So they had a sucking losing culture until what? They get a good coach and a quarterback. Like it's not a culture. Teams win and
But
teams lose.
Jim.
If you're saying like if you're saying that listen, the Jets have a top 5 quarterback in the league and a great coach, and they're fucking 2-15, then you can fucking say something. But like, what were the Chiefs in
Jim,
that
but
for
to be
50
fair,
years?
the Lions.
Wait, hold on a
Jim,
second.
the Lions
What was
had
the Chiefs'
Stafford.
culture then?
They had a good quarterback.
What was the Chiefs' culture for 50
Jim,
years?
they did.
So
The
they were
Chiefs
losers.
always made it.
Did people walk around and say, "Oh, the Chiefs have a losing culture. That's why they don't
No,
win"?
no, but
No.
Jim, if you think about it, and let's use the Steelers because I think it's maybe the argument of the best culture in the NFL. They usually don't have a talent advantage. They've got a culture advantage. They've got a coaching advantage.
No, they have a smart head coach, and they do have
They
good
have
players.
good players, but most times
They
that
have
the
a good
Steelers take the
coach.
field.
So wait, hold on a second. So again, culture. So they had a fucking bad guy, and they got rid of him. That's great. Some guy, Bill Belichick had fucking bad guys, and he kept them. So like, I mean, come on. We throw around culture
Yeah,
like it's
but
fucking.
it does mean
It doesn't mean anything.
it does.
No, it doesn't. If you get a good head coach and you have a great quarterback, you know what? You're gonna win, and it's not the culture. It's because you have a great quarterback. That's why. What's the Bills' culture? The Bills' culture. They win because of Josh Allen. If you take Josh Allen off that team, what? So then they have a losing culture. Then their culture shit.
Yeah, Jim, that's not.
It is.
Can I
It is.
make a great
It is.
example of this real quick? Okay, so Colts and the
Yes.
Dallas Cowboys. Back then it was Jimmy Johnson and Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith. Once Jerry thought he could do it all on his own and be the GM and the owner because Jimmy went out and got those guys. It wasn't Jerry, it was Jimmy. The moment that Jimmy got released, what has Jerry done in the last 30 years? Nothing. There's no culture in Dallas. It's always about him and him only.
Ace, that's a great point.
Because the players bought into the players bought into
No, but hold on. If you're going to argue what Jim's saying, they brought in a Super Bowl winning coach, and they have a guy that should have won the MVP last year in Dak Prescott. There's the coach. There's the quarterback. They don't have a culture.
There is zero culture in Dallas. Zero.
You gotta have the.
They're in the playoffs. They make the playoffs.
Have the right
whenever you can't get
Jim,
past
you
the
sound
first or
like you're in
second
the
round.
dungeon.
Yeah, like
that. But that's not culture. They're making the playoffs.
That is a whole entire situation.
You lose. People.
I don't
Teams win
listen.
and teams
I will
lose.
say this about culture: the Jets have a losing culture.
They do.
That's the bottom line. They have that's the bottom line. I don't care, what anybody says. The Jets have a losing culture.
But Jim, can you make an argument that the coach is a part of the culture because you have the players have to buy into what you're bringing to the table. Like you can be a great coach in terms of scheme, but at the same time, like these players have to buy into what you're bringing to the table. Isn't that a part of culture?
No, this is professional football. You are paid to do a job. If you have a good coach or a bad coach, you're a professional.
So
that's
you
not
get
how
you get
human
paid
life
to do what they
works,
tell
though.
you to do.
Okay. So in 2011, when the Eagles went 8-8, when they had that super team, it was the high. Remember that super team? They had a super team with 7 All Pros, and they did not make the playoffs when they had a Pro Bowl quarterback, and the best offensive line in the league, the best D line in the league, Nandi Absalom, who was the best corner in the league.
I get it. You know what that's called? You know what that's called? It's called underachieving. What the Jets are doing now.
But
it's not a culture. That's called underachieving.
Why did they go 8-8?
Because they underachieved.
I wish I could play the Tom Ford music right now.
We have stars on this team that are underachieving right now, and they're losing. We had a kicker that's a good kicker, missing kicks for 2 weeks, cost 2 games. He's underachieving. If he makes those kicks, that's 2 wins. What are we talking about?
I don't know if he's a good kicker anymore. That's the answer. I don't know if he's a good kicker anymore. He was,
but now he's not. This year, he's not having a good year. Those are 2 wins. That's culture? No, it's not. It's underachieving. Missing kicks.
You have to have players buy into to buy in what you're trying to do. You have to.
I'm just saying we throw around that word. It's so overrated and ridiculous. It's comical. It's ridiculous.
But Jim, if you have a child and I have a child,
it's so easy.
It's what we do with our children that makes our children men or women, right? Like that's like, it is a real thing. Culture's a thing, man.
What you
Hey,
teach your kid and I teach my kid is not culture. How is
Jim,
that
I think.
culture? You're
Hey, Jim,
teaching
I
your
think.
kid and I'm teaching my kid the right thing to do. That's not
Hey, Jim,
culture.
I
He
think
can
the
go out
best
and
point.
fucking and do whatever he wants. Like again, these are grown men. They can play to their ability. They can run the run the right route. They can study more. That's an individual thing. Or you can just steal money and just give half an effort, which I think half the Jets
We just
players are doing.
disagree on this one.
Okay,
We
that's
just
fine.
disagree.
Yeah,
That's
I
That's fine.
fine.
disagree
Yep.
too. I think the Jets have a losing culture. I think the Bills right now, they're going on their fifth straight championship division title. The, the Bills have a winning culture right now.
Wait, Pete. Say division title. Don't say championship because they don't
That's
have that.
right. That's
Okay.
what I
All
said.
right. All
Division
right.
titles.
I just want to make sure clear that we didn't.
Uh,
No, that you didn't mean championships. A championship. You meant division title. Okay, continue.
division championships. 5 years in a row it's going on. I don't know where, as we wait for the
I,
guests, I need to hold the speaker spot open for
I feel.
Go ahead,
I
Jones.
Hey, I feel Jim. I feel Jim's point, but I don't agree. I feel like the best example with a roster that
Is
has
anybody talking?
probably.
I don't hear
Yes,
anything.
Jim, you're
Yes.
up.
Yeah,
Yes.
All right,
yeah.
let me
Yeah,
drop and
you're in
come
the
back.
dungeon
I
anyway.
feel like the best example is the Chargers. They had a good quarterback last year. They had a terrible head coach. You see how even though they lost last night, Harbaugh is clearly making that team look better. But I just had a question for the Jets fans. I know this defense has been playing crappy, but can we please admit the offense went 0-4 in the past 4 weeks to put a game away? Like the quarterback is failing us, man. These wide
Yeah,
receivers are
but
failing us.
Jones, to be fair, I'm not saying I know it was in the rain, but they did get a chance to kick a game-winning field goal. To be fair,
All right, all right.
that's
So
my
all
only
right,
cop out to that.
you're
But
right.
that
You're
they didn't
right.
execute.
But you're right. But man, 0-3, man, 0-3, and this offense has had chances to ice the game. Petey, if we went back a month ago and said the next 4 weeks your offense will have a chance to end the game, you would not predict 0-4.
No,
Nobody in this room
no,
will
I
predict
wouldn't have
0-4.
for sure. It's
And we
depressing.
and we get on here and rip the defense, and I understand it, but bruh, they're for the most part they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're giving up chunk runs, but bro, that offense is the real problem. The real problem at hand.
Regarding that, like, I wanted to ask you guys, like, do you like honestly had real expectations about the players that you had? Because I just heard, I remember who was saying it, talking about Tyler Smith, that he was supposed to be an All Pro this year,
Yeah.
and I'm just kind of like curious, and I was just curious because you're asking for a guy to be an All Pro when the last 4 years he missed 37 games. So I don't know if that's like expectations, put it unreal expectations, or more about overhyping the player, because the reality is Tyron Smith hasn't been healthy like in the last 4 years. 37 games
Yeah, but
missed
hold on
is
a
a
second.
lot
He is healthy
for
this
for.
year, and he's playing like dog shit. So he's an All-Pro guy that's healthy this year. That he missed games with the other team with Dallas. Now he's here playing every game, every snap, and he's playing like shit. So all of a sudden he became an All-Pro. What? Nothing. So he's healthy. He's playing. Now he's playing like he's playing awful. So that's the
Yeah,
Jets' fault. All of a
not
sudden he's
for
playing
nothing.
awful now.
Not for nothing. You need to get Olu in there. You need to get Corley in there. You got to bench Smith. You got to bench Gibson. You got
Hundred
to start
percent.
make. You
Hundred
got to start
percent.
make. You got to start making some moves here, guys. Because this
Hundred
is.
percent.
I mean, give me a break.
How
Like
many times can you watch the same bullshit?
the same shit over and over and over. I mean,
Hundred percent.
anybody see those plays by Smith on Sunday night? I mean, it
It's
looks like
a
look
joke. It's a
looks like
joke.
an
I can do
undrafted
that. You
rookie.
can do that.
Yeah. I
He
mean,
didn't put a hand on a person.
right. I mean,
I mean,
enough now.
Like,
Enough.
I mean, if you show that to him in a film room in front of the team, what's his answer going to be? How can you
I'd
even like?
hide. I'd hide.
How is that a professional rep from an all-pro football player? It's a joke.
I'd hide under a rock if I saw that in front of my teammates.
Yeah. I mean,
Your biggest
it's
problem is you've been on defense so much this entire season, man. Y'all have been on defense the majority of the season. That takes a
No,
toll too.
last season they were on defense the majority of the season, and then they still played 10 times better than they played this season. So I don't want to hear
Actually,
that excuse.
actually, the last 2 years they've been leading in the league in defensive snaps.
Right.
I'm just saying that's a lot to take on for any defense. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot. Like in Baltimore, we were turning the ball over. Our defense. I mean, look, we're not the best defense either. I'm just saying we've been on defense a lot. Also, it does take its toll, fellas.
yeah.
You know what I
See,
mean?
but you just hit the nail on the head. You don't have great defense, great players, but you know what? Everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, probably on every play, and you're playing up to your ability. These
And we're getting
guys
a little bit
aren't
lucky.
giving. Either they have no heart, or they're stupid. I don't know what it is, but it's you again. The Jets have players. They have all pros playing like dog shit. They got receivers that hitting balls in the chest. That drop it and go for a pick down to the one. Meanwhile, George Pickens, he gets a ball thrown to him. He's catching it with one hand. Guys are making plays. The Jets do not.
Yeah.
And
When are we going to
the
start to have a
the problem.
conversation that DJ Reed is better than Sauce Gardner too? Because I'm starting to get pissed off with Gardner as well.
Well, I'm pissed off at the whole secondary when they don't turn their head. I don't get I don't know what they teach them, but they just don't turn their head. I don't get it. I mean, Russell Wilson was throwing up fucking punts, and they're coming down with it because they don't turn their head. But
You
listen, I'm
know
not a
what's funny?
football coach, but I can see when corners turn their head and they don't, and the Jets don't.
You know that's a great point because you know Stevens, our corner on Baltimore. That motherfucker is like fucking super glue, but he don't never turn his head and find the ball either. You know what I mean? Like you might
Yep,
not get open against him, but if you throw like a back shoulder or something where he's not able to see the ball,
yep,
he ain't turning his head around either.
yeah.
And he's a
Listen,
very good defender,
yep,
but not
The
not
Jets are
defending the
there.
ball
These
is
guys aren't
bad.
wide open. Those Pickens
Yeah,
catch,
no,
they would he was covered. But if you don't turn your head,
absolutely.
you got one guy finding the ball. It's
Well, and in college, you can stick your hand up, and most of the time, to deflect the ball. In the NFL, they throw too good to do that.
yep, 100%. Just and again, listen, I'm
The,
spent. I'm
the,
just it's just we watch the
the,
same shit. But
the,
good
Anybody
the,
conversation,
anybody have
guys.
anybody have any confidence that we're going to beat New England on Sunday? Because I don't.
Yeah, but you know what? I
the,
We
do.
already beat
But
them
what is it? What
once.
does it matter? Now, so what? 3-5. You know what? Come talk to me if the Jets win three in a row and you're 5-5. Then you know what? Then we'll have a conversation about the rest of the year. Until they get to 500 and not 8-8, 500. Like you have to get to 500 at either 5-5 or 6-6, and then we can have a conversation with the 5 more games to go. Until that,
Whittle, just
until
jump in.
that, no, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Um, the question was posed about Buffalo's culture and whether they have a culture or
No,
not. Um,
nothing was posed to that. No, it wasn't.
well, I'm not talking to you. Like I didn't
I'm talking to
interrupt
you.
you.
It wasn't
All right.
posed.
Well, I don't care.
all
So
right.
Buffalo's culture, that was introduced by McDermott was to trust the process. Like don't skip,
That's original.
don't don't skip the steps. Do the little things. That's the culture that he put in Buffalo. And another term that they have that everybody that the entire team pretty much buys into is do your 111th. We actually have a content creator for Cover One named Aaron Quinn.
It's not
One of the
culture. You
things
win
he
because of
does
Josh
on
Allen.
bro,
Has nothing to
bro.
do. Has nothing to do with
Jim,
I'm not
slogans.
Jim,
talking to
Jim,
you.
No, it
Jim,
has
let
nothing to
him.
do with
You need
slogans.
to control yourself.
I'm cool, bro. I'm
You
cool.
All
We're
right,
just gonna
okay?
offend
Cool.
you. That's
So
all.
come
cool
on,
on me.
Jim. Let him
Has
finish his point.
Thank
nothing to
you.
do with
All
slogans,
right.
though.
So
You win because the quarterback.
so Aaron Quinn he does
he does like he makes like bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches or whatever for his family on game days, and he posts the video or whatever, and he calls it his 111th because the first time he did it, they won. He still continues to do it, win, lose, or draw, but he says, you know, my 111th is complete. He posts it all the time on game
All
day,
right, so we
and
need a bagel guy.
and it's because of the
We need a breakfast
All
sandwich
culture
right,
guy
that
for the
hold
Jets.
Sean
on,
McDermott brought.
We need a.
Whittle. I got the guest in here from the Athletic. I got to pause everybody. Let's get back to this. Zach, I invited you to speak. Uh, please accept. There you go. All right. Zach Rosenblatt from the Athletic has joined. Good morning, Zach. How are you?
Good morning.
Covers the Jets.
Good
Thank
morning.
you.
Sorry I'm late, guys.
Don't worry about it, Zach. So we're on the. First of all, uh, thanks for always communicating with me and giving the fans some
Of course.
some of your professionalism. We appreciate it. Zach, before I get into is the season over, we're talking about culture, winning culture, and obviously the Jets don't do that. Do you think there is a culture, just a losing bad culture here, or what do you think the biggest problem is here? Because everybody wanted Salah gone,
Yeah.
especially the fans, and now Salah's gone, and to me, Zach, the defense has actually gotten worse the past 2 weeks. But let me hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a culture, and I know this word, Jets fans hate this word right now because they keep using it, but there is just has been a lack of accountability for a few years now. And I think, I think Salah deserves some criticism for it a little bit because I think the culture he established, which, he built up this great defense and they became a competitive team, but his culture was letting the players lead themselves. And so it was kind of like everybody not necessarily doing what they want, but nobody like felt the fear of getting benched or losing their job or anything like that. Which I think playing with that fear sometimes can be good. So I think everything has just been a little bit too lax in terms of accountability the last couple of years, and so I think you're seeing what's happening with that now.
Zach, do you think at 2-5 that this year is finished, or are the Jets going to jet? Because Zach, listen, yesterday I'll admit I do this space every day, and I did it through the dog days of the summer. And Zach, I had to end early. I just couldn't take it anymore, man. And I'm a longtime fan.
Yeah.
I'm almost done myself, and I every year I go back to the same stuff. But do you think it's over right now, or do you think they have a run in them?
Okay, so those are two different questions. I'd say to your first question, it's probably too early just to declare it over, and I know it feels like it is, and I think this last game was a must win, and they just got absolutely destroyed. But that goes to your second question: do I think they can go on a run? I mean, I have no evidence to believe that they can. So,
Mm-hmm.
in that sense, you could say that it's over. And to your point, like this feels like as out as the fan base has been this early since I've only covered the team for 3 years. I have followed them a little bit longer than that, but this feels like as down on the team as the fan base has been in a long time, especially because of the expectations. I think that's the difference between like the Adam Gase era compared to now or something like that, where everybody thought this was the year, and it's just been an absolute disaster. So I don't have a lot of confidence they can turn it around, but if you beat the Patriots, if you can upset the Texans, then all of a sudden you're feeling pretty good. But these are a lot of ifs for a team that hasn't like earned the benefit of the doubt, certainly.
Yep. Now, Zach, before I get to June and Buckeye, and then we'll go to Hands. Zach, I want to speak to you for an hour, but I'm not going to be selfish. Zach, listen, I'm a longtime season ticket holder. Last week, now I knew it was coming, but Zach, like they just can't get it right. Like there's teams that they sent out an invoice. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just tip. And Zach, tomorrow the invoice comes out and they're probably raising prices. And Zach, listen, I'm the most pro Jet. I love the team. I represent them, but this is just a bad thing by the Jets. And I don't care if they're listening anonymously. Like you can't do this and ask for money when you're 2-5. It's just not a good look. Give me
Yeah.
your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm always blown away when I hear stuff like that. I can't speak to how if that's a reflection of how it is around the rest of the league because I just don't know. But yeah, I mean it's not a great look, and I think it's not the first time the Jets have done something like that where they're struggling and they ask for money from the fans, and it's the Jets generally need to do a better job of reading the room, but that especially is a bad thing. I, on my podcast Flight Plan, we just got the sponsor called Game Time Watches, and um, you know, part of our first advertisement was like showing all these watches with the Jets logo on it, and all of my listeners were like, "I'm not buying anything with Jets on it. How dare you even offer that to us?" Like that's just kind of the state that everybody's in right now. They don't want to spend money on this team because they keep disappointing them. So I get where everybody's coming from, and the season ticket thing, I just yeah, it always blows my mind when those emails come through, especially in the middle of a season like this.
Zach, they can't even sell. You see, you're there. I mean, I look, Zach, the building, it's not completely
No,
full in the upstairs. It's
it's
not.
not.
And
You're right.
they're doing this dynamic pricing because they want to get greedy and charge for better teams coming in, and they're
Yeah,
pricing people out. It's not a good look. And they think it's marketing, and I get it because it's sales. I'm in sales, but it's not a good look, man.
I'm very curious to see how the crowd looks in that Texans game on a Thursday night. I mean, they might be coming off a win then, but I mean, a Thursday is already hard for people to pull off because of work and all that stuff. And then the fans are so, they're so upset with this team right now. I'm just very curious to see what that crowd looks like.
Yeah, I'm going to get to some positives later, but June, if there is any, June, go ahead and then Buckeye.
Zach, thanks for joining us, man. I'm so glad you're here, brother, because I really got a question for you. I remember you and Diana did the article. What was it, last year, the year before last?
In January, yeah.
Okay. Now my question is, all right. Let me set it up for you. The year is April 29th, 2021. Jets have the second pick. Tell me who wanted Zach, who wanted to keep Sam, and who was maybe thinking about a trade.
Um, I think it's a complicated. I think everybody agreed that they wanted to draft Zach in general. Like I think they all came to the agreement. It wasn't like a lot of people were fighting it necessarily. I do know that there are some people in the building that like the idea of keeping Sam Darnold and trading back and like getting a treasure trove of assets. There definitely were people in the building that preferred that, but I don't think it's fair to say there are people in the building who are like fighting to not draft Zach necessarily because I do think everybody's pretty much in lockstep with that. And if you look at that draft now, like all the quarterbacks have pretty much not really worked out too. They don't get a pass for drafting a bad one, but it wound up being a really bad class.
Thanks, man. Buckeye, you had your hand up?
Buckeye, you
Buckeye.
Yeah,
here?
yeah. Sorry about that, Zach. Some of the things that are just so blatant.
He might have to drop and come back.
June, you can't hear him. He's good, June.
Okay,
You drop and come back, June. I got
Zach,
you.
can you hear me?
got you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So some of the stuff to me is blatant, and I'm curious if there's going to be any changes. So Tehran looks like he's just washed, finished, and nothing left, and we drafted Olu
Yeah.
to be our left tackle. So I'm curious if that transition can happen. We got a kicker that has been terrific until this year, and I've not seen kickers once they lose the mental like
Mhm.
edge, they recover. So we've got a kicker that can't kick field goals right now. There's some stuff that I think we've got the changes in the room to make. Do you feel that these changes and transitions, like would we cut Greg? Would we change Tehran to Olu? Would we do some of the stuff that's like doable and changeable right now to happen in your opinion?
It's a very fair question. It's just hard for me to predict without because we just don't know what kind of coach Jeff Ulbrich is yet. The fact that they brought kickers in to work out last week was an indication that they're at least preparing for the possibility of cutting him. He didn't have a good game again with that low kick that got blocked. So I'm more confident in Zerline maybe losing his job than Tyron, who I think they feel very invested in, and I think they respect him so much that I don't know how quickly they're going to pull the plug on that. It might work itself out that he's a guy that does tend to have some health issues throughout the year. Maybe he needs a week off or something like that, and Olu plays well, and then he keeps the job. But I don't see them benching Tyron yet because I do think they're higher on him still than the fan base is.
And then the last thing for me, Zach, and this happens like every year that we draft guys that we really like, uh, Iggy and now Malachi, and this whole thing of they don't know how to block. What's going on with Malachi Corley? Like, what? Why can't this kid? And I'm watching Gibson, who looks lost, and I'm holding my freaking breath, and my heart's dropping every time there's a punt. Malachi Corley can't play football with the Jets this year.
I mean, yeah, it's a very fair question. I think they feel like Malachi's not ready to get on the field as a wide receiver. I think they still feel like he's very developmental in terms of his route running. But yeah, to your point, like Xavier Gibson has brought nothing to the offense, and he like he's been very stressful as a return. I think he fumbled at least two of his punts or kicks the other day. So I do wonder if that's a change they make at some point soon. I just so far they've given no indication they plan on playing Malachi at all, which is pretty disappointing considering how much they hyped him up in the draft process. But he didn't really show much in camp. Like I think that is absolutely true. But at a certain point, you have to if something else is not working, you got to try. The third round pick you drafted to be a weapon this year.
Thanks, Zach.
Yep.
All right, guys, we got four hands up. Zach Rosenblatt, who covers the Jets from The Athletic, is on. By the way, guys, we're on live YouTube, so subscribe to Jets Commute. The space is streaming on YouTube as we speak. Appreciate you guys tuned into YouTube. Zach, again, thanks for joining. I don't know who the order is, but I'm going to go Jones and then Hargs. Jones, go ahead.
What's up, Zach? Hope you're doing fine today, man. Just one question. Do you think how do you think this room, the defensive side of the room, is welcoming in Hassan Reddick, and do you think he will provide like an impact, like an immediate impact where he results in wins? Because it seems like the only way we're going to get wins is through just sheer talent. Now, do you think the defensive side is welcome him in strong, welcoming hands?
I think it just all depends on his attitude and the shape he's in, and if he's ready to help them right now. Like ultimately, he might not have a lot of friends necessarily in that room, but if he goes out there and he produces, then I think everybody's going to be completely fine with him. It is an interesting dynamic though, because he hasn't been around this team since he got traded there, other than his intro press conference, and these guys have been busting their ass and they're grinding, and he hasn't been there the whole time. And now he's just strolling in, so I think it's something to keep an eye on. But if he goes out there, whether it's Sunday or Thursday against the Texans, whenever he gets like his first full workload, if he produces sacks, which is what they're paying him to do, then everybody will be fine with him.
Zach, before we get to the next hand, listen, the positivity, man. How about Will McDonald, man?
Yeah.
What a year he's having. I mean, most Jet fans writ him off, said he was a bust already, but he's been impressive, man. And his reach, I mean, it's pretty impressive, man, how he gets to the quarterback. Give me your thoughts on, McDonald's jump.
I mean, the fact that he's 8 sacks through 7 games is pretty bonkers. No matter even the people who are the highest on him, I don't think would have predicted that. So he's been an absolute weapon as a pass rusher, and they've needed him because they haven't really gotten anything from anybody else really, including Quinnen, who hasn't really produced as a pass rusher. So that's been huge. He still has a long way to go as a run stopper, but you know they drafted him to be a great pass rusher, and that's what he's been so far. So that's definitely been a boon, and it's kind of exciting to think about the prospect of if Hassan Reddick's himself on passing downs where you can just attack with Will on one side and Hassan on the other.
Zach, last one. Did you see the replay? And Hogs, jump in right after me. Did you see the replay of Zerline's block? It looked like he was gonna. It looked like it was heading towards the pole anyway. It looked like he didn't get enough to the right on it. Did you see that or no? Because I
I
thought he would have missed it too.
Yeah,
It
he might. I honestly didn't like watch it enough to like judge that part. I just know that he definitely kicked it too low anyway. So um, it's been a rough year for Greg Zerline, that's for sure.
can you see the Jets moving on from him this year with all the? I mean, I know they gave him some guaranteed money, but you could see it.
I mean, at the very least, like I said, they brought in 3 guys last week that they worked out. It wouldn't shock me if they brought somebody onto the practice squad this week, even if it's just like competition to push him and let him know that he can't keep playing the way he is. So I don't know. It's like you said, they are paying him some money, but if the kicker is going to keep holding them back like this, then they kind of have to move on.
Thanks, Hogs. Go ahead.
Hey, Zach, good morning. Um, I want to look at it from this perspective here. We still don't know what kind of coach Ulbrich is going to be, even with him now being 2 games in. The defense has taken a huge step back from last year to this year. I know we're missing, a couple of big guys on the D line that we let go, and then the Jets this year brought in Kinlaw and other pieces. Do you think there is even a remote possibility where Ulbrich may promote one of the position coaches to be D coordinator, so that he can be the head coach of the team as a whole? Because I just feel this defense is really lacking compared to last year. Not just position wise, but also coaching wise as well.
Yeah, I think it's a fair question to ask if he's being a little strung out from being learning how to be a head coach while also still calling defensive plays. I don't get the indication that they're going to change that yet. But yeah, to your point, the defense definitely has taken a step back. I do think they are very banged up. The personnel, as you said, especially up front, is not as good. But the back end has just been destroyed by injuries, and so that's definitely a concern going forward. So I don't if they were to switch play callers on defense, maybe it would be Marquand Manuel since he has experience in that area. But the Jets believe in Ulbricht's ability to call plays. So I don't know. I if the defense keeps playing like it has recently, then maybe they make a change.
Next up is Joshua. Good morning. Josh, you here?
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's all right.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Zach. My question to you is: I truly believe the mistake of the season was from Joe Douglas, and he's had many. Was not pushing just to start fresh with the coaching staff, because I truly believe with a different coaching staff, at worst, would be like 3-4 right now. So my question is, when they let go of Robert Saleh, why didn't they let go more of his guys, like AKA the offensive line coach? Because it's still having issues even with guys better and healthier from last year.
Yeah, I think part of it is probably just that it's hard to completely uproot a coaching staff in the middle of the season. So the solid part makes sense. Hackett would have made sense to get fired. They just demoted him. I know Carter's been in the line of fire by this fan base, but I just don't think it's not that easy to completely turn over the coaching staff in the middle of the season. If you were going to fire him, the offseason would have probably been the time to do it.
Zach, to that point, thanks, Josh. When you and Rossini stuff came out, do you think that was part of Sala, or what you were, like when you really dig deep into it, or because I think it goes more than just Sala, Zach. To be honest, I'm not trying to trash Woody, but he's got his hands all over this.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I'm not here to bash Woody Johnson, but he's gotten his hands in with Rodgers, and I wanted Rodgers here, Zach.
yeah.
But all this other stuff, I mean, give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's a combo of things. I definitely think Salah didn't do a good enough job, and ultimately he probably should have been fired in the offseason. I think if you want to criticize Woody for firing him, if he had such a short leash that you were going to fire him after 5 games, then they probably should have made a change in the offseason to try and spur something different before the season started instead of in the middle of it. So I think that's definitely worth criticizing. And yeah, Woody has his hands in everything the Jets do, and in a lot of ways, he's invested and trying to build this roster up, and in other ways he's made things harder for some people. So he definitely deserves a lot of the criticism he's getting. And at the same time, he took a big swing by firing Salah, by trading for Devontae Adams, by pushing to bring Hassan Reddick in for more money. And if it doesn't work out, then the Jets are going to be in a tough spot for next year because they don't have a lot of flexibility in the offseason.
I agree. They don't. And they're probably, and every game Tyron Smith plays, Zach, isn't it probably towards next year's salary cap? Because, they gave him 20 million if he hits the incentives, or do you know how that works? Because I haven't
I'd need to
figured
look
that
in.
out.
Yeah, I'd need to look into it. I can't remember how it works with like the incentives and stuff. But yeah, the more Tyron plays, the more money he gets ultimately. So he won't be. They'd have to reach the Super Bowl, and I think he'd have to be like an All Pro for him to get like the complete 20 million. So I don't see that happening. But I know playing time is a big part of. There's different spots. If as he reaches them, he gets more money.
Anthony, go ahead, and then I'll get to everybody else.
Hey Zach, what's up?
How's it going?
I'm just kind of in the off season mode already because that's what this team does. But I'm just wondering what you get this future for the team is. I
Ant,
don't
you're
really
breaking
see a
up.
future, right? You
Go
hear
ahead.
me?
You're good now. Yes, now we can.
No,
Go
I was
ahead.
just saying
Sorry.
I really don't see I really don't see a future right now for the team. It's kind of a man's land. A phone
Lost
call.
you,
I
buddy.
got a phone call.
Petey, come back to him. I don't think anybody can hear him.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes. Now
Hear
we
me?
can.
No,
Go
I had
ahead.
a phone
Yep.
call. No, I just kind of wanted to
All
see
right.
what you thought the sense of the future of the team was going forward, because I really don't see a future right now. This was as far as Rodgers and stuff, and that's pretty much it. I just kind of want to know where you get the sense they're going to go after this, especially with
Yeah,
the
you know,
Rodgers experiment.
I wrote something today about this. If it keeps going down this way, you know, I mean, they if they don't make the playoffs, they have a new head coach, they have a new GM. I think Rodgers, I question whether he'd actually come back or if he'd retire. So then you need a quarterback. As of now, they'd have a top 5 pick. So I think they probably draft a quarterback, and it's gonna this is gonna be a team that looks a lot different in the next regime. They have a lot of changes to make. Yeah, you know, they have the 22 draft class is eligible for extensions. You have a bunch of key guys like DJ Reed, Tyler Conklin, Reddick, um, Jamie and Sherwood. A lot of these guys are going to be free agents, and I don't think they have a lot of flexibility because of all that. So it's it's kind of bleak if they aren't able to turn it around this season. It gets pretty bleak, unfortunately.
Zach, what do you think Rogers and them are going to come back? And Adams, honestly, if you had to say today on what's today, October 22nd, if
Yeah,
you had to say right
if we're
now, is
sitting here,
Rogers? Yep.
yeah, if we're sitting here right now, I'd say no, but just because of the way things are going, and Rodgers has never experienced this level of failure before. He's never been 2-5 in his entire career, so I lean towards it not going past this season, but it just depends on how the rest of the way goes. If they go on a little run, or at the end of the year they turn it on, you could see them convincing themselves they could run it back again. But as we sit here right now, I'm not confident that's going to happen, so I'd say no.
Wow. Well, Zach, I think Green Bay, I think they were 2-5 in his last year. Do you recall? I think they were. I'm not positive,
I'll double
but
check that.
weren't they 6-8? I know they can't just, I could be wrong. I'm not questioning if you're right or wrong here, but
No,
wow, I'm stuck. Go
they
ahead.
were 3-5, not
Okay.
2-5. So
Sorry.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
right. All right. I wasn't questioning that, man. Thanks. Next up is Whittle. Do you have a question for Zach?
Yeah. Good morning, Zach. I wanted to ask you. Um, no GM nails. It's rare for a GM to nail the draft for round 1 through round 7. Are there any moves that the Jets made in the draft with either picks or trades that you at the time did not agree with? And how I mean we're near the midpoint of the season now. Like, do you agree? Do you still hold the same differences in your view of the draft or the off season that you did then, or were you completely on board with everything that happened in the off season?
So you're asking if there's anything specific from the offseason I thought they shouldn't have done?
Yes.
That's a good question. I think the moves they made in the offseason were hard to generally argue with. I think ultimately the trade up for Corley has not worked out, but it's still too early to like say that's a complete bust. And um, it's hard to blame them for going after a guy like Tyron Smith because they didn't get him have to pay that much. Same with Mike Williams. They haven't worked out. But I think ultimately Joe this offseason for the most part made I'd say if you want to criticize Joe for something, I would say the trade away of JFM was the worst one because you lost Bryce Huff, you lost some of the defensive tackles from this year. They brought in Kinlaw. They probably overpaid him a little bit, and they traded away JFM. They didn't sign Reddick to a contract, so the defensive line's been depleted. And so I think that you can definitely point the finger at Joe Douglas because trading away JFM, I don't think they ultimately had to do it. They could. He agreed to a pay cut with the Broncos, and he probably would have done that with the Jets too. So I think that was the one that has aged the worst.
June, go ahead. June, you here? All right. Next up is Office. Oh, June, there you are. Go ahead.
No,
Is June in the blender?
Yeah, June, we can't hear you.
Just go to office. Go back to June.
All right, Office, go ahead.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good.
Quick question for you. With all the work you're doing in the for your profession, What do you think is a realistic goal? Two-sided question here for you, if you don't mind. What do you
Hmm.
think is a realistic goal for the Jets, their coaching staff, as they move forward? You know what I mean? Like, what would be the ideal pick based on your work that you've done in and what you see out here, and what would be a realistic um, what would be a realistic move for them in that category moving forward? Do you think? And I
Wait,
appreciate it. Thank you.
wait, wait. So in terms of what? I don't really understand the
Like a head
question.
coach for next year per
Oh,
se. Like, where do you think the Jets go with the coaching side of things to
gotcha,
get to where they want to go?
gotcha. Yeah,
Thank you.
I it's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see how appealing candidates view this job as, especially with all the attention Woody's gotten. But I think the number one candidate on every team's board, but especially the Jets, should be Mike Vrabel. I think they should have hired him in the offseason, frankly. And I just think he's an experienced head coach who has had success. He did a good job in Tennessee with sometimes a roster that was outmanned, and he's a guy that I think would bring some accountability and culture into the building. So I think he'd be the number one guy on my list. I really like Brian Flores as a as a head coaching candidate as well. And if you want to go off offensive guys, there's some obvious like up and coming guys, but ultimately I think Vrabel is the one who the Jets should absolutely go after.
Wow, Brian
I
Flores.
agree.
That
I
thank
agree. Thank you.
Zach, do you give him total control, or you bring in another GM if that's what happens as well?
I think it generally giving total control to the head coach doesn't usually work out, but you know, I I think a lot of times teams and the Jets were like this, where you bring the GM at a different time than the head coach. It often doesn't work out. I think the best case scenario is what you saw with the Lions. They brought Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes in at the same time. So if you can find a combo that works where Vrabel and this, or whoever the coach is, but Vrabel and this GM are in lockstep, I think that would be the pod. Not to say Joe and Salah weren't necessarily. I think that clearly there's a disconnect with some of the guys they were drafting and stuff. But yeah, so I wouldn't give anybody complete control, but you trust Vrabel's ability to evaluate talent as much as any of these candidates.
And if there's no playoffs this year, Joe's gone, or to be TBD for you in terms of what Woody thinks of Joe?
I mean, probably TBD, but yeah, I think he'd probably be gone. It's hard to go. This will be 6 years without the playoffs if they miss the playoffs, and it's hard to justify that. His contract's up, so I would be very surprised if he came back if they missed the playoffs.
June, go ahead.
No, no. I mean, Office actually. He asked the question that I was getting ready to ask. But well, let me ask you this though: is it safe to say that if Rogers do come back, if he decides to come back, that a veteran coach, established head coach, wouldn't look at this as exactly like the career move that they want to do?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it depends on the coach. If the coach thinks that he can lead Aaron Rodgers and he's not going to let Aaron walk all over him, but that they can work together. Aaron is still, even
And
as he struggled, I think he's still at the very least a league average, if not slightly above average quarterback. And he's a quarterback you can win with if you get the culture around him better. So, and Vrabel's a guy that I think Aaron respects, and I think Vrabel would be open to coaching him. So I think that it's an interesting question, but if not Vrabel, like how appealing is this job if a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback is a very fair question.
hey, Zach, it's kind of funny because the day after Mike Vrabel got fired, we had a space here, and I pounded the table for Woody to fire Salah right now and get Vrabel in here ASAP. And now look, now see, now my point is this: because at the end of the season, Mike Vrabel will have options. So what's going
Yeah.
to make this job? You know, why would he want to coach this team that's full of turmoil and with a historically a narrative that the owner meddles?
Yeah. I will say, there's, I'm not to be political or anything, but there is a presidential election coming up. And if Trump wins, I think Woody would probably be a part of his cabinet. So, the idea that Woody would be away for 4 years, maybe that makes the job a little more appealing.
You're right, though. That's funny,
Well, Zach, who's going to run the team? Brick?
Chris.
It
Because
would
I
be
don't.
it would be Christopher again, I think. But yeah,
It'd be
it's
Chris.
an interesting question.
Do you
Zach.
think Vrabel would want that level of autonomy anyway?
I don't know. I know he was pretty involved in what the Titans were doing, though. I think the previous GM got fired, and after making some really weird decisions, and I don't know how involved Vrabel was with that stuff. But I think Vrabel just wants to get back into coaching. I know that for sure. He desperately wants to be a head coach again, and he's going to get interviews with a lot of teams. He got a lot last year, and nobody hired him. I think even the Jets figured that he wouldn't be an actual candidate for them, which is a reason why they didn't fire Saleh, and he kept staying available. So depending on what jobs are open, like, I think he'll absolutely take an interview with the Jets at the least, but I don't know if he has better options, he'd probably take those.
Zach, there's one wild card on Vrabel. If Day doesn't win a national championship with the Buckeyes, I think you could see Vrabel as the next Buckeyes head coach too, and I think that's a big job for him.
I totally hear what you say. I don't know that a lot of I feel like coaches are less willing to go to college now because of the NIL stuff. So I'd be curious if he'd prefer NFL or that. But I get the sense he prefers NFL. But I think he very much loves Ohio State. So that would be an interesting dilemma for him to consider.
So
Yeah,
Buckeye,
Zach,
you're just going
go
to
ahead.
disrespect your receivers coach? He's not
What's
going to
that?
take the job. I say you're just going to disrespect your receivers coach.
I don't want to derail it. I don't think Hartline would get that job right now. No.
Uh, Zach, real quick, do you see, because we already see Jarek, thanks. Do you see the fan? Because I already see it, Zach. But do you think this could get really ugly with the fans towards Rodgers?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're already kind of seeing it a little bit. I think if it keeps going the way it has, and Aaron keeps throwing, interceptions the way he has, and you know, being a reason why they lose after all the hype that he gave and a lot of his comments he's made and things like that. Like I could see the fans turning on him. I don't know that it's happened just yet because he still is better than any quarterback. Even as he struggled, he's still better than any quarterback the Jets have had in a long time, which I know isn't saying much. But if they keep losing and he's the face of it, then yeah, absolutely the fans will turn on him, and that's why I'm curious about, especially depending on how the Patriots game goes. We're assuming they beat them, but let's say it's not as pretty as we thought, and then they come out slow against the Texans. Like I could see some boos raining down at MetLife.
Oh gosh, Zach, can you take these four hands and then we'll wrap up? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. Cool. Thomas, go ahead.
Good morning, guys. PD, hello, Zach. Good morning. Um,
Morning.
so
So,
obviously, with the Jets being 2-5 right now, it's a tough position to be in. I mean, very few teams statistically are able to kind of flip their season at that point. And I mean, fortunately, the AFC is kind of soft this year. It's not as daunting as I think most people kind of considered it would be. But to make the playoffs, I mean, you'd kind of have to assume the Jets would have to go 7-3 down the stretch to have a very, I mean, I think that's probably basement level as to
Yeah.
potential to make the playoffs. So I guess two-part question to this for you. What's the realistic thought for you as a writer for The Athletic? What do you think? Do you think the Jets can actually manufacture that type of success after, and I mean, it's not poking the bear. I mean, there's a lot of Jets fans, and I'm a content creator for the Bills, so I'm going to probably get some heat for this, but it hasn't been a pretty start for the Jets so far this season. So do you think they can turn it around enough to be able to push to the playoffs? And if that doesn't happen, and it's been kind of answered, but I'm going to kind of answer or ask it my own way. Do you think this whole thing gets blown up for the Jets if they miss it? And to the extent of Rodgers being gone, Devontae being gone, I mean, Douglas and Ulbrich, I mean, the whole kid and caboodle, because I mean, in my perspective, I can't imagine a coach wanting to come in here knowing that, and with all due respect to Rodgers or whatever he is, a 40, what is he going to be, 42 next year? 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers, who is obviously slower. He's injury prone. He's dealing with a lot of things. I guess what's your perspective going forward for the New York Jets for the rest of the season, and what could be coming down the pipeline?
Yeah, I mean, it just all depends on how the rest of the season goes. If they go on this 7-3 run, like you mentioned, and they sneak in at 9-8, then I think Jeff Ulbrich probably keeps the job, and you're getting Aaron Rodgers back, and you're getting Devontae Adams back, and all that stuff. But if the opposite happens, which it feels more likely at this point, I don't see Ulbrich coming back. I don't see Joe Douglas coming back. I probably don't see Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams coming back. It looks like a completely different team, and you're back in rebuilding mode, which I know the fan base was hoping to avoid for a while, but unfortunately, that's where we're at.
well, Zach, on Twitter, I see it, or X, whatever we call it now. There's fans that do want to tank the rest of the season and don't want to win. So we're getting to that stage already, man. We thought that this was over, especially me. I thought it was over because I thought Rodgers and them would be a lot better than this, man. It's sickening to see, man. Do you feel like a black cloud over the building now, Zach, being there, like after, especially after this loss, or what's the vibe?
Well, we haven't been back to the building yet, so I think we'll have a better idea tomorrow based on the tone. But I think they were really thrown for a loop. They did not see the game going that way. They go up 15-6, and then they just lose all the energy once Rodgers throws that pick, and that was the most concerning part. And so you wonder how they handle themselves going forward. I mean, I think we're really going to find out against the Patriots. This is a game they absolutely are supposed to win. The last good game they had was against the Patriots, and so if they come out flat against a bad Patriots team, then it's going to be a long, ugly season where you're going to start seeing some bad stuff out of that locker room.
Jet Georgia, go ahead.
Appreciate that. Welcome to the party, Zach. Greetings from the I-16 corridor. My question is going to be around culture and Woody. We all know that at the end of the day, we can talk all we want. There's only one voice that matters. It's Woody's. He's the one whose impulses and ADHD will drive everything. Here's
Yeah.
the question, Zach. Who is in Woody's ear? Who is the person that Woody's listening to? Who are the football minds or the lack of football minds around Woody that are driving his impulses?
I think he ultimately is the one acting on his own impulses quite a bit. Without going into too much detail, I would just say it's a Johnson family thing where they're all have their hands in this. I would say, but especially Woody. He acts on his own whims, and he owns this team. He's there every day, and he's made a lot of decisions recently that have firing Salah, trading for Devontae, getting Hassan back. So he's very involved, and so he deserves the eyes on him ultimately.
I appreciate that answer, Zach. Are there people in the building, names that we don't know of, like not Joe Douglas, but people in his inner circle that he's talking to on the phone or texting with about football? Like, are there, or even different, are there football smart people around him?
Steve, that I don't have a great answer to. But you look at this offseason, Joe Douglas has been the GM, and for the most part, he's been able to do what he wants. But he had to fire Rex Hogan this offseason. He lost Chad Alexander, his two assistant GMs, and Woody didn't let him hire anybody new. So the front office was a little more depleted this offseason in the past. So there was less people around Woody necessarily with like a football background, I would say.
I appreciate that, Zach. One last question. During the offseason, were there any politics surrounding the decision to fire or not fire Sala, and who was on what side of that
I
equation?
wouldn't say politics. I think it was more they viewed it twofold. They didn't think they'd be able to go out and get a better coach than Robert Sala, considering their situation with Aaron and all that stuff. And ultimately, Aaron
Yep.
I think wanted Robert back. So I think those were the two reasons. They probably should have ultimately, like we said, Vrabel was there. I don't think they expected him to be. And if you plug Vrabel into this coaching staff, I don't know that they're having a lot of the same issues.
Amen, brother. Hey, keep doing the good work. Thank you.
Thanks, Jet Georgia. Jim, go ahead, and then I'll have a couple of quick ones for Zach. Go ahead, Jim.
Hey, Zach. I don't know if this was asked or not because I was out. Joe Douglas, safe extension. Like, what's your opinion, or do you have like an inside like feel of how he's looked, by Woody? Like, like what's he got a 6-year contract, but like what's the perception of him going forward, staying, going, or I'm curious. Does he get to hire the next coach, or what do you think?
I mean, like I said earlier, I think that if they don't make the playoffs, I think everybody's kind of gone. And if they make the playoffs, his contract's up anyway, so he'd need to sign a new deal ultimately. But if they break that skid, I think Woody would want him back for sure.
So it has to be a playoff
For sure.
appearance.
For sure.
Okay.
Thanks, Jim. So Zach, do you think, real quick, and thanks again, man, appreciate you. Every time I see you, you're always
Yeah.
cool. Thank you, man. Do you think that, I'm not saying this for the Jets' point of view, Zach, but I think 9-8 is going to get somebody in the AFC. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think since they added the seventh playoff spot. I think 9-8 generally should get you in. But you can't say it's a lock, and the Jets are going to have to overcome a lot of tiebreaker things while winning most of their games the rest of the way to even get there. So it's a tall order, and it doesn't lock you in. I think 10 wins and you're definitely in. 9 and you're right at the edge at the end of the season ultimately.
Yeah, Zach, this is a little off topic, but do you think there's any way that Colts game could get flexed out of the 8 o'clock? I mean, I know the Colts are in contention now. Do you see that happening or no?
I think Rodgers and the Jets bring such ratings even when they're a disaster that I don't as of now see them flexing it. But for my own personal health, I'd love it if they do because I'm tired of these freaking night games.
Yeah, me too. So Zach, all right. So obviously you do not think the Jets are going on a run, correct?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So okay, over under, do you think they'll get to 8 wins?
Yeah, I've had it in my head as they've been struggling that this feels like one of those years where they win a couple meaningless games or they go on a little run at the end of the year to make you think that they're in it again, and then they finish 8-9 and miss the playoffs. So I think 8 wins is realistic. I don't know if I'm ready to predict that's what they do, but I absolutely could see the season ending where they have 8 wins.
Zach, I could actually see 6-9, and the Jets are in the hunt on the wild
Yeah,
card.
the in the hunt graphic is coming for sure.
All right, Zach. Thanks a lot. And
Of course,
all right, last one. I don't know if you did it, but do you think they will win this weekend?
I do, and if they don't, then I wouldn't blame Jets fans for completely not even paying attention the rest of the way, even though that would be bad for my business. So.
All right, yeah. All right. So to that point, do you ever see a point where I can't ask you this question. I cannot. Do you know where I'm going?
No, I don't.
All right. Do you think that this brass would ever, consider pulling Rogers if it gets really, really
Mm.
bad?
Oh, I honestly hadn't considered that. I don't think they would. But would Rodgers pull himself if it gets really bad? I think that's a question I don't have an answer to, and I'm not even trying to speculate. But
Yeah.
he's 40. He's very banged up. If they keep losing, I don't know. We're gonna find out exactly how committed he is if they keep losing. So
Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't even.
no, it's a good question. It's a good question.
Well, Zach, I didn't predict. Listen, I forgot your prediction. I did not predict the Jets. I thought Buffalo was still going to win the division. They were the team to beat. But
Yeah, same. Yeah.
yeah, I did not expect this. I don't think even you expected this, did you? Or
No, not at all. I think I projected 10 wins. I think I definitely I tried to emphasize that there's still like a lot of questions, a lot of things that need to go right. Ultimately, the guys that I thought needed to stay healthy have, and it hasn't worked out. But the defense has had some really, really bad luck with injuries. So it's in a lot of ways, I always say the Jets always find a way to do some shit you've never seen before, and that's what they're doing. So
yeah, Zach, that's a great point, and I'll leave you with that. Zach, I didn't think it could get worse
yeah,
with this regime, with especially Rodgers. Like I'm like in the off season, there's no way. I'm all hopeful. I'm optimistic, and it's this is rock bottom, Zach. It really is.
yeah, it feels like it certainly.
Zach, appreciate you, man. Thanks again. Hopefully,
Yeah,
we'll talk to you down the road, and have a great day, man.
yeah, you too. Thanks for having me, man.
You got it. Take care.
Take care, dude.
Zach Rosenblatt from The Athletic. Hope you guys enjoyed. Uh, any thoughts, guys, as we come up on the hour?
Yeah, we deserve more. Not the great guest. We deserve more from our team, man. That's the observation. We fucking shouldn't be in this conversation before Halloween, and the Jets got us here again. So
I'll give you a thought. In my house, if you don't flush the toilet, it really smells like shit. And I don't want to hear Ulbricht talking to Salah every day, and I don't want to see Hackett in the building. You
Me
got to flush
either.
this shit down the toilet bowl.
I can't stand that shit.
That's my thought, man. Flush the shit down the toilet bowl. How's that for what is it, Tuesday? Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of shit, can you mute Jet Georgia? It's really loud. There we go. Thank you. Appreciate your.
he does bring up a really good point.
No, he does.
Yeah, the fact that the guy that was released is the consultant is like
Unbelievable.
it's unbelievable. It's really atrocious. So he brings up an excellent point, man.
PD, I will say this.
Go ahead, Tom. What's up?
Yeah.
Hope you and the
Um,
family are well, bro.
we're good. Things are doing well. It's it's a busy time with a 1 month old, but thank you. Um, and this is not. Don't take this as like me trying to play the "I
Go
told you
ahead.
so" or
Go
anything.
ahead.
It's more so that I think it's a tough situation. We've had conversations about this Rogers thing. I mean, Jets fans knew it's. You were talking probably a 1 to 3 year window of a win now type of scenario that is very boomer bust situation type, right? Like you knew it was either going to go swimmingly. Like I don't think there was ever really an in between with this Rodgers thing. It was either going to be going really, really good and a potential like a Super Bowl type of scenario, or like a catastrophic event. And I think the one thing to kind of it's tough, and I know it's for Jets fans. I mean, Bills fans know this. We went through 17 years of no quarterback too. The one thing to rest your laurels on is you still have some really good building block pieces. And I think that's tough to see through the woods and that shit, with all this going on. And hopefully it turns itself around for you guys. But like, I mean, the positive is you do have some really good
Yeah, but
quality
Thomas,
pieces
our
to build
fan
from.
base wants, yeah, but our fan base, and that's a good point. I agree with you, but our fan base is already tuning out to Garrett. Some people want to trade Sauce, and I'm not knocking them for that. I get the logic. Quinn Williams, people want out. Like,
It
you have
happens
to
though. I mean,
build
dude, we
around,
were
right.
a,
You have to
a week
build
ago
around
when we didn't
somebody.
a week ago when we lost the game. I mean, it was hellfire and brimstone with Bills fans. I mean, it's I was talking with a couple of people about Patrick Mahomes, right? Like Patrick Mahomes right now statistically is not a great quarterback, but because winning cures all, if you guys started winning, all these naysayers are like people that have like these negative viewpoints on the team would probably quiet some. And I think a lot of this stuff come the offseason. I mean, the tough part, I mean, last year, you guys were dealing with the shit because Rodgers went down early and the team was dealing with a lot of shit with Zach Wilson at the helm. But then the offseason came and you guys were as boisterous as I've ever seen a New York City fan base ever has been, right? Like the anticipation was huge. And I expect that to come back. And it's tough to kind of see through that. But I think the positives to this stuff is it's very easy to flip out of this stuff, right? Like there's opportunities to get good young quarterbacks in the near future, and you have all the other pieces. Like the tough part is with Aaron Rodgers right now is you know what you're getting, unfortunately. Like he's a 41, 42-year-old quarterback that has physical limitations right now because of the fact of what he's dealt with. And to be honest with you, I think the tough part is, moreover, what I would want to deal with is his fucking the attitude, the personality that comes with the guy is. If he was just like a humble guy, I think you'd be able to walk through this. But I think the whole package is what's
Mm,
tough.
Yeah, I think
So
everybody's going to turn on him, Tom. Tom, real
I
quick, let me get
I
let me
really do
get to
think so.
Bill. So do I. But I'm not gonna. But Bill, go ahead, and then we'll close it out. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, PD. How you doing?
I'm good,
Good
man.
job with Zach.
Thank you.
Good job with Zach. Um, the thing, a lot of people ask about JD's status, and I think if you really listen to what Zach was saying, the last two moves, the Reddick move and the Devontae Adams, had Woody. Kind of looks like Woody went over JD on both of them. So that tells me no playoffs, no JD. I mean, did you guys take the same
Yes.
thing out of that? Because
Yeah,
I think if Woody's overriding JD now, it's over,
I agree.
and it's just a matter. It's over. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I think they both everyone should go if they don't make the playoffs. Pick out all the good things in D, but there's a ton of big. There's less mistakes, but big glaring ones. We all know what they are, and your record, as Parcell said, your record is what you are. And he's 32 games now under 500. I mean, enough is enough. Your record is what your record is, and it's just time to move on. But I think to answer a few people's questions here, I think I think JD's out too if we don't make the playoffs. That's all I wanted to say. PD, have a great
Bill,
day.
good.
Talk to you
Thank you.
soon.
Good to hear from you, man. Dizzle,
Same here.
talk to me. I gotta close.
Man, I heard Hassan Reddick got his shit together. I'm proud of that for y'all. I'm sorry that he did y'all like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't appreciate how he did y'all. But I'm glad to know y'all got y'all business handled though.
with the money.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, you can
June, you
get
know
three
what it
sacks.
is. It's always a pleasure. Hey,
What
I
up,
did come to
T?
tell you one more thing, Pete.
What's up?
Huff and Puff got a sack on
Oh yeah,
Sunday.
I saw that,
Yes, he
man.
did.
Yeah.
Yes, he
Yo, and you
did.
calling him
Yes, he
Huff and
did.
Puff like
Yeah.
I
Hey,
did.
I was actually hitting the wood when he got that sack too. I was like,
Pause.
oh
Yo, pause.
yeah. Why does that need a pause?
I'm
That's
kidding, bro. I know what the wood is. Whittle, go ahead, man.
a grown ass man.
Whittle, go ahead.
For real. I just do that for them.
Whittle, I gotta
Yeah,
close.
yeah. I just wanted to finish up um, about the Bills culture. Like culture absolutely is a thing when you have a head coach or an organization that makes it a mandatory, that makes it something that you have to mandatorily buy into. Um, Sean McDermott comes in 2017 as the head coach in his first year, makes the playoffs with virtually the same roster that the previous coaches couldn't make the roster, couldn't
And
couldn't make the
Tyrod
playoffs
Taylor.
with. Now you can say they backed in or whatever, but the bottom line is that team got blown up at the end of the year because how poorly it was put together. Yet he still made yet they still put themselves into position to get it done. And ever since, obviously, 2018 was a poor year from a talent standpoint on the roster, but ever since then, the Bills have steadily improved. And if you don't think that it's because of Sean McDermott and what he's done, and he's not perfect, he has made mistakes. You don't know what you're talking about. So, with that, I'll land. Great jet space, Petey.
Thanks, Whittle. All right, Buckeye, June. As always, June, thank you. Buckeye, thanks for filling in and helping. Appreciate you, Jarek, Jet Georgia, Bill, Office. I see Rez down there. Rock, Brittany, hello. Jay Mick, what up? Reggie, Nikki, Dan Moscow. Guys, if you're going to Arizona, Dan Moscow, I think, is having a group. Reach out to him, or if you want to put something in the chat, reach out here. We'll get you in contact with him. Uh, you know, we'll see you tomorrow. I got another guest lined up coming in tomorrow or Thursday that should be really good. So please appreciate you guys. Sign up for YouTube at Jets Commute not .com, Jets Commute on YouTube. We're live. And June, anything you got to say?
You already know what it is. Have everybody enjoy their day and fuck Buffalo.
Good day, guys.
Yo, hang in there, y'all.
Have a good day, guys.